This absolute bastard. Careful, Cayde. Wouldn't want to die just yet. He says, cocking an eyebrow as I lunge for him, but he easily dodges. My name is Syerin. I pant. I don't understand Latin, but I know the word to be of its origin. I've heard the same word said to me too many times to forget. Cayde, carnage, murder. His smile stretches, dark and mocking. Doesn't suit you, you're more fire than blade. I can feel my blood boiling, not from the exhaustion of our fight, but from the arrogance he carries so easily. My fists tighten, and I rush forward again, determined to show him just how wrong he is. But when do things ever go well when fighting the future king of Velthar? Before I can make a move, he sweeps his leg beneath mine, sending me tumbling to the ground. The world tilts as I hit the cold stone floor with a resounding thud. I gasp, but before I can even push myself up, he's there, standing over me, grinning like the bastard he is. Still too slow, he mutters, his voice full of mockery. Asshole. I reach for his ankle, pulling him down with a swift motion. He stumbles, and for a moment, I see the flicker of surprise in his eyes before I bring him crashing down on top of me. My hands fly to his chest, feeling the hard muscles beneath his tunic as I push him back, desperate for some distance, but he's already leaning in, close enough for his lips to brush mine. The blood mark flares instantly, and a small gasp leaves my lips at the burning pain. I'm pinned beneath him, our bodies tangled, the scent of him, earthy, dangerous, lingering in the air around us. My cheeks burn, and for a moment I can't think. His eyes meet mine, pupils dilated, breaths heavy, and I realize just how much he's enjoying this. He moves closer, his lips teasing the edge of mine before he pulls back slightly, watching me. My nipples harden, pressing against my armor, and I bite my lip, the familiar taste of blood swirling around in my mouth. His green eyes lock onto my lips, a slender finger running across them, wiping the blood away. Careful, Syerin, he says, his tone dripping with heat and challenge, the hint of a smirk curling at the corner of his mouth. You keep looking at me like that, and I'll forget we're supposed to be fighting. The words send a jolt through me, and my lips part of their own accord. Fuck. I'm already wet, and I can feel my core pulsing. I try to push him off, but he doesn't move. Instead, he leans in closer, the heat of him pressing into every part of me, his lips hovering just above mine. Or maybe, he continues, his voice dark and teasing, you want me to forget. My chest heaves as I glare up at him, and I snarl frustrated as he finally gets off me. I scoff, straightening my clothes and sheathing my daggers. I'm not your Cayde, Riven, I say, but I could be worse. He smirks, I've seen worse, but we both know it. Know what? I snap. That wherever you walk, you bring carnage. Bodies drop, blood falls. You're walking murder, love. Please tell me that was the hardest that can get. Luril pants as she falls onto my bed. We managed to scrape by with a few cuts and bruises which got patched up by the healers. We probably had it the best, although I think Isolde will be back to get revenge after I broke her leg. I can't help the smug grin that spreads across my face during the fight. She lost almost instantly. Power marker. You have power. Or so you keep telling me. What is it you actually want? You marked me for a reason. Freedom. Syerin, hello. Luril's voice snaps me back to reality. You've been staring out into space. Everything okay? Yeah, everything's just perfect. She giggles, scooching closer to me. Are you sure a certain prince isn't consuming your thoughts? I gasp, shoving her aside. Please, she laughs. Everyone saw you two on the training mat. You two looked like you could have sex right there and then. My face burns hotter than the sun at her words, and I shove her harder, making her tumble off the bed with a loud yelp. You're ridiculous, I snap, but the heat crawling up my neck betrays me. Luril pops her head back up, a wicked grin plastered across her face. Oh, come on, you can't tell me you didn't feel something. The way he had you pinned, the way he looked at you, that wasn't training, it was foreplay. Stop talking. I groan, pulling a pillow over my face in a vain attempt to hide from her teasing. She flops back onto the bed, tugging the pillow off my face with an impish laugh. You should have seen the way he was staring at you, Syerin, like you were the only person in the room. It was kind of romantic, in a he'll probably kill you or kiss you sort of way. I scowl at her, but the traitorous flicker of memory, the weight of him pressing against me, the heat in his eyes, the way his voice dipped low when he said my name, rushes back and makes my stomach twist. Damn him. Damn her for noticing. You're imagining things, I say, trying to sound firm but failing miserably. She doesn't buy my bullshit for a second. Am I? She counters, propping herself up on one elbow. Because I saw the way you looked at him too. Like you couldn't decide whether to stab him or kiss him. I groan again, this time burying my face in my hands. You're insufferable. And you're deflecting. She grins, reaching over to poke my shoulder. You should at least admit he's hot. Come on, Syerin. It's not a crime to acknowledge it. He's arrogant, insufferable, and entirely too full of himself, I mutter. And hot, Luril adds cheerfully. I grab the nearest pillow and chuck it at her, but she ducks, laughing as she rolls off the bed and scampers to the door. Don't worry, Syerin. I won't tell anyone you've got a thing for the prince. I don't have a thing for him. I shout after her, but the sound of her laughter echoes down the hall, leaving me alone with my rapidly spiraling thoughts. I sigh, flopping back onto the bed and staring up at the ceiling. I don't have a thing for him, I murmur again, as if saying it aloud will make it true. I groan, rolling over and burying my face into the covers. Luril's laughter still rings in my ears, and I can practically hear her smug voice insisting I'm in denial. Maybe I am, but I know better than to entertain thoughts like that about him. Riven Knox is dangerous, not just because of his title or his skill in combat, but because he sees too much. Danger. I instantly sit upright. What's going on? The blood air has lost control. My back pulses, growing hotter, burning until a scream escapes my lips. It hurts. Fuck, it hurts. Find him before you die. I stumble off the bed, clutching at my chest as if that will somehow stop the pain. My knees hit the floor hard, and the world sways around me. Find him. Find him or you'll burn. The blood mark flares violently, its heat searing into my skin, and I barely suppress another scream. My breathing comes in shallow gasps as the voice grows louder, stronger. Shut up, I hiss, though it's pointless. The room darkens, shadows stretching unnaturally across the walls. My vision blurs, and I grip the edge of the bed, forcing myself upright. Each movement feels like I'm dragging my body through fire, but I grit my teeth and keep going. I need to move. I need to find him. Riven. White-hot agony tears through my right shoulder blade, and I scream loudly, my body falling to the floor. I'm not going to make it. What kind of god do you think I am? Syerin Cayde. The voice thrums through my mind, rich and mocking, cutting through the haze of pain like a blade. Shadows coil tighter around me, and the fire within my chest feels like it's going to consume me entirely. I claw at the floor, dragging myself forward, my fingers trembling from the sheer force of the Bloodmarked's fury. Is this how I'm going to die? Get out of my head, I snarl through clenched teeth, though my voice is weak, barely audible. My limbs are heavy and I can barely move. Crawl. Let me help you. I don't need you, I scream. But even as the words leave my lips, I know they're a lie. I can't do this on my own, not like this. Not when the mark is tearing me apart from the inside. This is all your fault. Then let me show you the way, the god whispers, almost tender now. The world around me warps. The shadows twist, spiraling into a vortex that blots out the room entirely. My senses blur, heat, pain, and fury all mixing together. And then, suddenly, there's clarity. The fire in my veins surges, not as torment but as power. My body moves without thought, without hesitation, like a marionette pulled by invisible strings. My body moves forward, but I have no control. I stagger into the hall, my breaths coming in ragged gasps. The door to Riven's room is wide open, and everything around him is broken, completely shattered. Wind wails through the broken window, and when I finally catch a glimpse of the prince, I almost faint. His shadows are everywhere, curling out of his body, destroying everything as his body thrashes in bed. His face is twisted in agony, sweat dripping down his forehead as the darkness writhes around him like living chains, choking the air itself. Riven, I choke out. What's happening to him? His head snaps toward me, green eyes glowing through the darkness, but they're not his, not entirely. His lips part, but no words come out, only a guttural snarl that sends a shiver down my spine. Something's wrong. Run. Riven, stop. I cry, but he's not snapping out of whatever trance he's in. The shadows lash out toward me like serpents, and I barely manage to throw myself out of their reach, my shoulder slamming into the wall. Fuck, I shout. Run. I don't waste another second, as I throw open the door and run out into the hallways of the castle. I can hear Riven's footsteps behind me, his shadows slithering across the carpeted floor. What's happening to him? Too much power. I fall to the floor, hard, as something cold wraps around my ankle. Let go of me. I scream, clawing at the floor, my nails breaking against the stone as the darkness coils tighter around my legs. I twist and kick, desperate to break free, but it's no use as the shadows drag me back toward their source, towards him. I manage to pull my dagger from where it's hidden in my boot, and right before the prince has his hands on me, I stab the shadows and he snarls, letting out a scream that shakes my entire body. Keep running. And so I do. I don't know how I got here, but I've managed to make it into the training room. I instantly run towards the weapons wall, grabbing a sword as the doors swing open, and this possessed version of the blood heir is standing in front of me. His eyes flash, glowing unnaturally as he runs towards me, lunging as he attacks. I barely block his strike, the force of it sending shockwaves through my arms and nearly knocking the blade from my grip. He's faster, stronger. "Riven, stop." I shout again, though I know it's useless. The words bounce off him. His shadows lunge toward me with terrifying speed, and I duck, rolling beneath the arc of his blade and spinning back to my feet. His next strike comes immediately, a slash aimed to kill. I parry, barely keeping up, the clash of metal against metal echoing through the empty training room. My heart pounds in my chest as his eyes meet mine. His power closes in, twisting and coiling, and I feel one curl around my wrist, yanking hard. My weapon flies from my grip, clattering to the floor. I curse, ducking just as another shadow lashes out, slicing through the air where my head was moments before. "Fight it, Riven." I scream, desperation edging into my voice. "You're stronger than this." His lips pull back in a snarl, his voice a guttural growl. "No, he's stronger than you think." And the realization that hits me is enough to kill me alone. The reason why the mark always burns when he gets close. The Prince of Darkness is marked too. This isn't Riven losing control. It's someone using him. My blood mark burns, and I feel the blood god beckoning to let it in. "Let me handle this, Syerin." "No," I snap, dodging another shadow as it lashes out. "I'm not letting you take over. I don't want what's happening to Riven to happen to me." But the god's laughter echoes in my mind, dark and mocking. "You'll die without me. Let me save you." Riven's shadows surge, slamming into me and pinning me against the wall. I gasp as the air is forced from my lungs, my arms trapped by the darkness. He approaches slowly, his blade glinting in the dim light, his expression cold and devoid of mercy. "Riven," I whisper, struggling against the shadows. "Please." For a moment, something flickers in his eyes, recognition, humanity, but it's gone as quickly as it came. His hand raises and the blade arcs downward. And then the god of blood strikes. The power surges through me, unbidden and unstoppable. My vision tints red as the blood mark flares, its heat searing through my skin. I feel it, a connection, a tether between my blood and his. Riven freezes, his body jerking unnaturally as his grip on the blade falters. He gasps, his free hand flying to his throat as though invisible hands are squeezing the air from him. "No," he chokes out, his voice strained and panicked. "Syerin, stop." But it's not me, it's the god. My blood, his blood, manipulated like threads in a tapestry. I feel it twisting, choking, constricting. His powers falter as his knees hit the ground, his hands clawing at his throat. Blood drips from his nose, his mouth falling to the ground. Let him go, I scream. Weak, the god sneers, but the pressure releases all at once, leaving Riven gasping as his body falls to the floor. I fall to my knees, my body trembling with exhaustion and adrenaline. Across from me, Riven looks up, his face pale and streaked with blood. His green eyes are his again, clear, sharp, and filled with something I can't quite name. Riven, I say softly as I make my way to him. He coughs, blood coating his hands. Cayde, he says, a familiar smirk and dimples flashing spreading across his face. I chuckle lightly, putting his head on my lap as he gasps for air. His hand curls around mine as he squeezes softly, like he's trying to say. I don't know how much time passes as we just lay there, my fingers winding through his soft black hair, his hand wrapped around mine. Mine, he whispers softly. You'll be the end of me, Cayde. Warmth, it's the first thing I feel. My hands wrap tighter around, wait. My eyes flick open, my gaze snapping to the delicate body laying against my side. Holy fuck. All the memories from last night crash into me. Losing control, Cayde finding me then fighting me. I nearly killed her. She groans a little, her body pressing closer to my front, and I can't help but pull her closer. And that's when I know which origin Lord marked her. The reason why every time I get close to her, I feel an irresistible pull to her. Why my back burns so much I feel like it could engulf me in flames. She's marked by the mate of mine. Why haven't you done anything? She's your mate. The blood goddess and I didn't part on good terms. She hasn't talked to me for centuries, and I doubt she'll start now. But clearly, she cares enough that she sent Syerin to keep you in control. The god huffs, I'm so terribly fucked. Everyone in these trials is my enemy. Only one survivor comes out on top, and now, if she dies, I die. I die, she dies. We're bloody tethered. I can feel her steady breath against my chest, each inhale and exhale, reminding me how vulnerable I am right now. She's seen my vulnerable side. My heart races, pumping like a war drum, because no matter how hard I try to fight it, I can't escape the truth. She's mine, and the universe, in all its twisted design, has decided we're bound by something deeper than blood. Something that has the power to kill us both if found. I need to get out of here before I lose my mind. She stirs against me, her blue eyes flickering open to meet mine. Well, down the drain that goes. I can't breathe for a moment. The air feels thick between us, and the heat that's always there when she's near flares up, searing my skin. What happened? Her voice is hoarse as those gorgeous eyes search mine. She's so beautiful it haunts me. I swallow hard, trying to control the panic that rises in me. Trying to pretend I have it all under control when the truth is, I'm anything but. You don't remember. I ask, my tone rougher than I mean it to be. She shakes her head, wincing slightly as if the memory of whatever we went through is a bitter pill she can't swallow just yet. I remember flashes. You attacked me. And then she trails off, her gaze flickering to the ground before looking back at me. Why is it so hot in here? I rush to my feet and head to the door of the training ground before any of the other contestants can wake up. If they find out that she's my weakness, I'll be dead before I know it. If she ever finds out that I'm her mate, I'll also be dead before I know it. Make sure she never finds out. Tell your love to make sure she doesn't. You two could be stronger together. You know, blood air. Tell the blood goddess. Don't make me draw her out of Syerin. Done, he chuffs, and I can feel his wave of irritation. Is that it? I'm millimeters away from the door. I could just ignore her and leave, but my feet stay rooted to the spot as her soft voice traps me. No wonder where she got her name from. Her voice is fucking lethal. Do you want more? I throw back. Yes, my body flinches slightly. Tell me what happened to you. How did I know? She breaks off like she's finished her question herself. You're marked, aren't you? Her voice is barely a whisper. By which one? I grit my teeth together and I bolt. Guilt washes over me after I make my way into the halls. She practically saved me. I nearly killed her and I'm leaving her all alone. Fuck. Too late to turn back now. My feet echo in the vast space and my head is a blur. I don't even know where I'm going, but all I need is to run. Just keep moving. I turn right into another hall, almost colliding with someone. Brother, what are you doing up this early? I stumble but catch myself in time before I faceplant. My youngest brother comes into view, this time his white attire fitting onto his frame. Father called you. He shakes his head. Mother, and just if this day couldn't get worse, I'm reminded by the monster that's currently living here. Just great. You still haven't answered my question. His brown eyes look me up and down, and I can imagine what he's seeing. My hair sticking up on its end, my clothes disoriented and rumpled, my skin warm and flushed. No, Kale, I didn't go fuck a contestant or anyone for that matter. He rolls his eyes, sighing, pinching the bridge of his nose. I wasn't thinking that. You look worse than after you've come from someone else's bed. What are you doing up this early? He repeats, drawing out the words. I couldn't sleep. I needed to get out of my head, that's all. What did Mother call you in for? She has reason to believe that the rebels are getting closer to making our abilities. She wants to stop all transportation of our supplies to them. Khalston has broken the alliance with Ironspire and is now allied with Dracoris. Just what the hell is she thinking? A new voice enters the conversation, and I groan as Lucian pops his head around the corner. Wow, you guys having a little brother meetup without me. How the heart burns, he says as he feigns mock hurt. Kale sighs dramatically, rubbing his temple as if he's already tired of the conversation. Lucian, it's barely dawn. Don't you have something better to do than eavesdrop on us? Lucian smirks, his black hair slightly tousled as though he'd just rolled out of bed, or someone else's. Eavesdrop? No, I just happened to stumble upon you two conspiring. It's not like I could miss Riven skulking through the halls like a shadow of doom. I glare at him, agitated enough to smash his head into the wall. We're not conspiring, and I wasn't skulking. Lucian raises an eyebrow, his sharp blue gaze sweeping over me. You look like hell, brother. And judging by the way you're avoiding eye contact, I'd wager it has something to do with our dear red-haired fail. Am I right? My hands curl into fists at my sides, the urge to punch that knowing grin off his face almost unbearable. I lunge forward, gripping the collars of his shirt, before pressing the side of his face into the wall as he lets out a small scream. You keep talking, you won't have anything to talk with. He grins and I pry his jaw open. He squeals like a little girl, trying to muster out words. Let him go, Riv. I scowl, pushing him into the wall, then backing off. Lucian stumbles back, straightening his rumpled shirt with exaggerated flair. He rubs his jaw, his grin somehow even more irritating now. You really need to work on your anger issues, brother. Maybe a nice long nap or... Lucian Cayde cuts in, his tone sharp enough to snap steel. Cayde exhales, clearly exasperated. This isn't about fun. Caused and allying with Dracarys isn't just bad politics, it's a declaration of war. If they've managed to replicate our abilities... And it's almost like a light bulb flickers in my head. If they ever manage to replicate our abilities, they have the potential to amplify them too. It takes years of training to be able to master it, and our powers are even more deadly when out of control. No, you free us, absolute horror will reign. We are not your answer, blood heir. There are 10 of you. You guys have enough power to take down the whole of Syerin if you wished. Why won't you help us? Try to see reason, Riven knocks. We are the Origin Lords, trapped for centuries whilst I've come to see reason, the others have not. Only 4 of us have marked. You free us, the others will possess others to create absolute chaos. I will say again, the Origin Lords must never be freed, and if they are, may their mercy be with you. My reflection stares back at me. Unruly dark hair, faded green eyes, and skin pale. Marred by faint scars, remnants of the battles I've fought, the mistakes I've made, and the ones I couldn't save. But now there's something else in my gaze, a shadow of uncertainty that wasn't there before. I run a hand through my hair, my grip tightening. The god's voice echoes in my mind. The Origin Lords must never be freed. And yet Syerin exists, marked by a god, tethered to me something neither of us asked for. She's as much a danger to me as she is a salvation. If anyone discovers what she is, she'll be hunted down, not just by the other contestants, but by Mother, the Council, and every power-hungry bastard in Syerin. You need to protect her. Protecting her is as dangerous as leaving her unguarded. If anyone connects the dots, if she finds out about the bond, she'll hate me. A knock at the door interrupts my spiraling thoughts. Lucian again, or Cayde with more grim news. I turn, ready to snap at whoever's on the other side of the door, but I'm stopped short. It's not my brothers. It's Syerin. Her auburn red hair is disheveled, loose strands framing her face. She looks smaller than usual, like the fight has been drained from her, or maybe it's the vulnerability in her eyes that makes her seem that way. Are you going to keep running? She asks, her voice quiet but steady. I stiffen. What are you talking about? She crosses her arms, her gaze piercing. You, bolting out of the training grounds like a coward, avoiding me like I'm some kind of plague. You owe me answers, Riven. My chest tightens. She doesn't understand what she's asking for. You don't want answers, Syerin, not the ones I have. Don't tell me what I want, she snaps, her voice rising. I saved your life last night, and you almost killed me. So don't stand there and act like I don't deserve to know what the hell is going on. I exhale sharply and flinch when she steps closer to me, her hand raising to cup my face. I want to move away, push her away, do anything I can to put distance between us, but instead I find myself leaning into her touch. What's happening to us? Not her, not just me, us. Don't tell her. I don't want to, but she's making it bloody hard not to. Her hand trembles slightly as it rests against my cheek, and I hate myself for noticing. Her touch is soft, hesitant, but it sends a jolt of fire through me that I can't ignore. I close my eyes, but the damn bond, pulls at me. Syerin, I murmur, my voice low and strained. You don't know what you're asking. Then tell me, she presses, stepping even closer. Her scent is intoxicating, wild, untamed, and far too tempting. Because whatever this is, it's tearing me apart. And I think it's tearing you apart too. Leave. Syerin, please just leave. I can't do this right now. Her eyes flicker the slightest bit, the light in her eyes shutting down. She gives me a small smile before her back is towards me and she's gone, along with all my sanity. You did the right thing. You would have told her. You underestimate me as the blood heir. I stand frozen in place, staring at the door she just walked out of. The burn of the mark fades, but the ache in my chest only grows. You're a coward, blood heir. My hands tremble as I press them against the edge of the table in front of me, leaning forward as if I can somehow escape the thoughts in my mind. The blood goddess is your mate. You think ignoring her chosen will save you. The voice snarls. I grip the table harder, my knuckles whitening. Attention, all contestants. Report to the training hall for day 2 of training to commence. The announcement comes 2 more times, and by the 3rd chime of the morning bell, I'm dressed and making my way to the hall. I'm grateful for any distraction I can get, and adrenaline pumps in my veins at the thought of getting back into the ring. At least I can pour my frustrations out. Most of the contestants are already gathered in the training room, flinging around weapons and daggers, and have already started some light sparring. My eyes search the room for ocean blue eyes and hair redder than fire. She's not here. A flicker of unease ripples through me, but I shove it down. Syerin isn't the type to miss training. No, she can't miss training, and she knows it. Being a fail, she needs to find everyone's weakness, and what better way to do it than fight them? Assess them. Whatever else she may be, she's determined to survive, and this is a place where survival is earned. Looking for someone. Lucian's voice cuts through the din, his smirk firmly in place as he leans against the wall, a dagger twirling lazily between his fingers. Don't start, I warn, stepping past him. I don't have the patience for his jabs right now. Where is she? I don't know. She has turned off her bond. I can feel the panic of the god rise inside me. Find her, right now, blood air, before she brings death to us all. I grit my teeth together and give Lucien one last glance before I sprint out into the hallway. I don't know where I'm running, but I just need to find her. If she's been able to turn her bond off, it means she's starting to let the powers of the blood goddess weave through into her. Soon enough, she will be completely controlled, like a puppet, by the goddess. Relax, brother. Lucien's voice echoes through the halls as I come to a stop. You're like a hound on a scent. Find her, Lucien. Don't you fucking stop until you do. His eyes widen the slightest bit, but his mouth closes, his lips pursed into a tight line. He nods his head the slightest bit. Panic is a living, breathing thing right now, and its claws have started to sink into me already. This castle hides so many secrets, and I know if she finds even one, we could all be doomed. The blood goddess isn't to be trifled with, and fuck that. The one I'm stuck with did. Can you feel her yet? She's going to die. I have to admit this is the first time I've seen my brother this way. It can't just be about her. Something is actually wrong. Very wrong. My boots clack against the floor as I search the west side of the castle. Riven's taken the side with Syerin's room, so I won't bother looking there. Where? Terrace. My heart races. I run through my father's favorite garden, not caring what plants or flowers I trample over as I run through the area. I can see the copper color of the terrace in the distance, a faint figure standing on its ledge. Fuck, she's going to jump. I don't think. My legs move faster than I've ever pushed them before. My breath coming in ragged gasps, the figure teeters, her arms outstretched as if the wind might carry her away. Syerin, I shout. She doesn't turn, doesn't flinch. The wind carries her dark hair in wild tendrils, her eyes wild. It's not her. She's being controlled. Controlled, WH. She's marked, isn't she? By who? The blood goddess. My pulse pounds in my ears as I close the gap, sprinting up the steps to the terrace. The chill of the high winds bites against my skin, but all I see is her. Get back. I yell again, reaching out a hand, but her gaze is locked on the horizon, her knuckles white as they grip the railing. She turns to face me, and I almost want to scream when she does. Her eyes are a blood-red color, red veins spreading across the right side of her face. You're too late, Lucien, she says, her voice calm, disturbingly so. They're already here. I freeze. Who's here? Syerin, talk to me. Step back, please. My voice cracks, betraying the fear clawing at my chest. She laughs, a bitter, hollow sound that cuts through the air like a blade. You wouldn't understand. You can't. I inch closer, careful not to startle her. Try me, I say, my voice softer now. You think I don't see what's happening to you? That I don't care. Whatever it is, whoever it is, we can figure it out. Just step back, please. For a moment, she wavers. Her fingers loosen their grip on the railing and hope flickers in my chest. But then her eyes snap to mine, and they're not hers anymore. They burn with something dark, ancient, and cold. You can't stop them, Lucien, she whispers. and neither can I. Her body shifts, and for a horrifying second, I think she's going to let go. My instincts take over. I lunge forward, grabbing her wrist and yanking her back from the edge with every ounce of strength I have. She fights me, her strength unnatural and feral, but I refuse to let go. Syerin, stop. Her eyes meet mine again, and for a heartbeat I see her, trapped, terrified, and begging for help. Then the darkness surges back and she snarls, her free hand clawing at me. I don't care. I won't let her go. Blood drips down my arms from where she's scratching me. I can't hold her for much longer. Not like this. My ability won't help her. I can't control the weather to make her not jump. My grip on her loosens. She falls. No, Syerin. Without giving it a second thought, I jump off the terrace, my cloak flapping against the wind as my arms wrap around her waist. She struggles against me, but I don't let go, and when the ground comes closer, I haul her upright, landing us in a crouch. Guess being Syerin comes in handy. The impact shakes through my bones, but I keep her steady, clutching her waist with one arm while the other grips the stone ground for balance. My heart is pounding, my breath ragged. I can feel her trembling in my arms, the weight of her body against mine as she continues to struggle. Syerin, I breathe, my voice soft as I stroke her hair. You're safe now. Please stop fighting me. She stops, her chest heaving as she stares at me, eyes wild with that foreign, twisted energy. But there's something else in them now. Confusion, pain. Syerin, I need you to hear me. She blinks once, then twice. Then she falls limp in my arms as finally she starts to come through. Her blue eyes are back, that bite and snark I know that hide behind them appearing again. I breathe a sigh of relief and cradle her as she buries her face against my chest. I feel my heart skip a beat as she presses closer, her warmth soaking through my cloak. For a moment, everything else fades and it's just her breath slow and steady against me, her body finally resting. But then her head lifts and she looks up at me, her eyes not just clear but searching. You didn't have to. She begins, her voice strained. I shake my head, my grip tightening on her waist as if I might lose her again. I'm not going to let you just go, Syerin. I don't care if you're a fail, and I don't care if it means I could be killed. I'm not ever going to leave you, and I'll always be here. I notice her lips quiver, like she's about to say something that could change everything. Lucian. She begins, but her words are cut off by the sound of footsteps approaching quickly. She tenses in my arms, and I feel her instinctively trying to pull away, to shield herself as she struggles out of my arms. I curse under my breath, standing quickly and preparing for whatever's next, but before I can react, a voice shatters the fragile moment. Of course, fucking Riven knocks. He strides towards us, his face twisted in anxiety and anger as his dark eyes fixate on me. I avert my gaze from him, looking to find our youngest brother behind our oldest. He looks equally as worried, but he hides calmly like he always does. His head tilts up, then back down to us again. Did she fall? He whispers softly as I pass by him. I turn back to where Syerin is, and the look in her eyes as she stares back up at Riven hurts me. My heart shatters just like that. It's always going to be him, isn't it? Who is she marked by? I take a deep breath before I say the next words. The blood goddess. The ancient power that had once ravaged kingdoms, a being whose very name was enough to send shivers through the strongest of warriors. To see Syerin fighting against it with every ounce of her being, it chills me to my core. Kale stills. That's Rivs. Yes, I know. No matter how much I want her, fate has a way of making me lose everything I desire. Syerin's eyes meet my gaze and her features soften as I give her a small smile. I nudge Kale, giving the two of them some space as we walk back inside the castle. I rake a hand through my hair as I catch a glimpse of my reflection in the walls. You know the trials are going to be impossible now, right? We're all marked, Lucy. Riven can't die. I couldn't give two shits about Syerin, but we can't let him die. I guess we only have one option this time. I say, as we open the doors to the training room to find a very pissed-looking Queen Evelora staring right back at us, along with the contestants. And what's that? Protect her. Where have you been? I look back at Lucian, his jaw clenched. I walk around to the weapons stack and pick up a sword. If you already know, Mother, why bother asking? He says lazily. She scowls at him, and it seems Lucy has forgotten that she can obliterate him in 1 second, but thankfully, she shows him mercy. For now. Pick your partners. I turn to the door, expecting Syerin and Riven to walk through at any moment, but they don't. Mother's ice blue eyes lock on me, like she knows something's wrong and is expecting to hear what the shit just happened from me. Riven and Syerin will be here soon, I say, keeping my tone even. There, handling something. Mother doesn't blink, her eyes narrowing slightly as if she can see straight through me. Handling something. She repeats, her voice deceptively calm. And what, pray tell, might that be? Lucian scoffs behind me, his laugh sharp and humorless. Maybe they're just avoiding this little family bonding exercise. Can't say I blame them. Her glare shifts to him, icy and unrelenting. Silence, Lucian. You've already tested my patience enough for 1 day. Lucian raises his hands in mock surrender, but doesn't bother to hide the smirk tugging at the corner of his lips. I resist the urge to roll my eyes, but my mother doesn't, and a sinister smile grows across her lips. I smile. My eyes snag on a pair of brown ones, and my smile dies down as Luril stares back at me, her lips parted like she's seeing me for the first time. I grit my jaw and look away before my feelings get out of control. I already have someone else to protect because of my stupid brother. I can't let another in. Good luck, brother. He spins around, confused until Mother sheds her cloak and picks up her favorite sword. I almost laugh when I see Lucy's eyes go wide, skin deathly pale. Alas, he's going hand-to-hand combat with the Queen of Dracarys. The smirk vanishes from Lucian's face so fast it's almost comical. Almost. He glances at me, his eyes pleading for some kind of intervention, but I just shrug, unable to suppress the grin tugging at the corners of my mouth. You were saying something about avoiding bonding exercises. I tease, stepping back to give them space. Mother doesn't wait for a response. She stalks toward Lucien with the predatory grace of someone who's honed their skills for decades. The sword in her hand catches the light, its edge gleaming wickedly. "Let's see if your tongue is as sharp as your blade," she says, her voice smooth. Lucien swallows hard, the confidence draining from him as he takes a hesitant step back. "Mother, I was only joking." Jokes, she interrupts, her smile turning razor-sharp, are for people who have earned the luxury. Now defend yourself. With that, she lunges. Lucien barely has time to react, scrambling to grab a weapon from the rack. He opts for a short sword, its blade far less intimidating than Mother's sword, but it's better than nothing. Their weapons clash, the sound ringing out across the training hall as Lucien stumbles back, his footing unsteady. "Focus," Mother snaps, her strikes precise and unrelenting. "Or you'll lose your hand before you can even raise it to me." Lucien grits his teeth, his face a mixture of concentration and panic. To his credit, he manages to block her next few attacks, but it's clear he's outmatched. Mother is faster, her movements calculated and deadly. "Your posture is atrocious," she critiques, fainting left before sweeping his legs out from under him. He hits the ground hard, his sword skittering out of reach. "Get up." I lean against the wall, arms crossed, thoroughly entertained. "You're doing great, Lucy," I call out, earning a glare from him as he scrambles to his feet. "I hate you," he mutters, grabbing his weapon and bracing himself for the next onslaught. Mother gives him no reprieve. She's on him again in an instant, her strikes coming faster now. Lucien's movements grow more desperate, his breaths ragged as he struggles to keep up. "You hesitate," she says, her voice like steel. "You second guess. That hesitation will get you killed." Lucien finally manages to land a blow, not on her, but on her sword, knocking it from her grip. For a split second, he looks triumphant. Then she sweeps behind him, twisting his arm and forcing him to drop his sword. "You rely too much on your weapon," she hisses in his ear. "Strength alone will never be enough." With a final shove, she releases him, and he stumbles forward, panting and disheveled. Mother picks up her weapon, inspecting it as if nothing had happened. "Pathetic," she declares, her tone as cold as ever. Lucien groans, collapsing onto a nearby bench. "I think you broke something." "Good," she says, turning on her heel. "Maybe next time you'll take this seriously." I bite back a laugh, stepping forward to help Lucien to his feet. "Tough day, brother." He glares at me, rubbing his shoulder. "Remind me why we call her Mother and not Executioner." Because it sounds less intimidating, I reply, patting his back. "Now come on. We've still got a session to finish. And next time maybe don't piss her off." The first thing I do when training is over is rush to the contestants' wing, looking for Syerin's room number. Lucien follows me like a shadow, although he seems a lot more desperate to get to her than I am. With all our lives tied now, we have only one objective in sight, and that is to protect her no matter what. Our footsteps turn rush and frantic as we break out in a jog, turning corners blindly. Syerin's room door appears and we slow down as Riven comes into sight, shutting her door softly behind him. He looks like shit. I mean, can't say I blame him after he nearly faced death too. But he doesn't seem scared about that. Hell, he's never looked more scared. "How is she?" Lucian asks, his voice strained. Riven's eyes narrow on him, but then he breathes out, relaxing. She's asleep. She'll be okay." "And what about you? Will you be okay?" "I'll be okay when she is." With that sentence, he pushes past Lucian, bumping his shoulder hard enough to make him stumble back, then proceeds to disappear. Lucian's jaw clenches and the second Riven's gone. He screams, punching the wall next to him, blood dripping down his knuckles. The fucker. That fucking nerve when she would be dead without me. "Calm down," I say sharply, grabbing Lucian's wrist before he can do more damage to himself or the walls. This isn't the time. He yanks his hand away, glaring at me like I'm the enemy. You didn't hear the way he said it, like I'm useless, like I don't care about her. I can hear lightning crack through the skis, a soft pitter-patter of rain hitting the castle. "You care," I reply hastily, before he conjures a whole storm that could destroy the whole castle, meeting his gaze. We both do. But punching walls and throwing tantrums won't help her, or you. I look up, listening to the sound of the rain fade just the slightest bit. Lucian exhales heavily, running a hand through his hair, his anger giving way to exhaustion. He acts like he's the only one who can protect her, like the rest of us don't matter. "Riven's always been like that," I say, my tone softer now. "But you know as well as I do, this isn't about you or me. It's about her." Lucian nods reluctantly, his shoulders slumping. He cuts himself off, swallowing hard. I almost lost her today, and he looks at me like I'm nothing. "You're not nothing," I tell him firmly. "You saved her, Lucy. She's alive because of you. Don't let his pride take that away from you." He doesn't respond, just stares at the door to Syerin's room like it's the only thing grounding him. Finally, he whispers, "I'm going to make sure she's okay." I don't care what he thinks. I nod, stepping aside to let him pass. "Just don't wake her. She needs the rest." Lucian hesitates for a moment before pushing the door open quietly, slipping inside. I lean against the wall, letting out a breath I didn't realize I was holding. This alliance, this bond between the three of us is fragile. Too fragile, if you ask me. But for now, it's all we've got. And if we're going to survive what's coming, we need to make it work. Somehow. As I turn to leave, I catch a flicker of movement down the hall. Lurael. She's standing at the corner, watching me with that same unreadable expression she had earlier. "You're not going in?" she asks, her voice soft but curious. I shake my head. She's in good hands. Besides, I think I've had enough of today. Lurael smiles faintly, but there's a shadow in her eyes. "You care about her, don't you? More than you're willing to admit." "That's where you're wrong," I reply, my voice low. "What matters is keeping her alive. I don't care about her, I care about my family. If I have to protect her for them, I will. She's one of ours now." She nods, but something about her gaze stays on me like she knows. The Kale Knox is starting to break down. She looks around, fumbling for her words, then settles on, "Do you want to go for a walk?" A slow grin spreads across my face. You know what? I actually do. Blood, thick and suffocating, the world around her is drenched in it, the crimson hue turning everything into a blur of violence and death. She stands tall, her presence overwhelming. She is the blood goddess, her beauty a weapon, her gaze a final verdict. A deep crimson gown clings to her lithe form, the fabric flowing like a river of blood, whispering against the stone beneath her feet. Her jet-black hair cascades down her back like a dark waterfall, and upon her brow rests a crown of black and ruby, as if the very essence of death and life were bound to her. A dagger is raised in her right hand, its blade gleaming with anticipation, reflecting the horrors she's about to enact. She moves forward, graceful and deadly. Her gown trails behind her, an obedient servant to the steps she takes, the whisper of the fabric like the last breath of her victims. Kill her. The voice slithers into her mind like poison, insidious and familiar. She is a traitor. Kill her. Her eyes narrow, focused on the woman kneeling before her, a figure so frail and desperate. She has been betrayed, and now there will be retribution. The blade gleams in the dim light, but the moment her grip tightens, her heart stutters with something she cannot name. The breath of hesitation. No. Her hand moves anyway, driven by something older than any memory, older than the pulse of her own blood. The blade sinks, not into flesh, but into betrayal, into the wound that has festered between them. The woman falls, but the blood that pours is not enough to satisfy her. It will never be enough. Kill her. The voice grows louder, more insistent. The blood churns, seeping into the earth, a pact of power made with the very thing she controls. But there's something wrong. The air shifts. Her actions are no longer her own. Before she can turn, the world shifts beneath her feet. The god of ash stands in the shadows, watching, his cold eyes flicking with a dark amusement. She does not have time to react as the very air around her ignites, the scent of burning ashen wind curling around her like chains. He moves like a storm, his power crushing her in an instant. He takes her, binds her with his ash, forces her to fight with flames she cannot control. She struggles, her hands tearing at the air, but the ash binds tighter, stronger, suffocating her movements. His voice is a cruel whisper, "You'll burn, but not die. Not yet." She fights, tearing at the restraints with a fury that matches her own nature. But she is not free. The pain surges, the flames licking at her skin, the ash filling her lungs, her vision blurry with the chaos. The world fades as stone begins to creep around her, suffocating her in its cold embrace. There is no escape, no way out. His power twists, his control absolute. Then they both feel it. The agony, a white-hot agony like fire through every fiber of their being. The stone is their prison, and it is alive with the burning ache of their shared torment. Her body trembles, trapped within the stone that is slowly consuming her, but she cannot move. She cannot fight. His presence, a weight against her own, presses in, and the pain is unrelenting. The blood in her veins feels like ice, the warmth of life snatched away by the stone that wraps tighter, locking her away. Forever. In the deepest, darkest place they are bound together. Forever. The world fades. The blood is gone. And the silence is all that remains. Wake. You must wake. Syerin Cayde, wake, child. You must wake. Please wake. I feel it, soft whispers as though from a distant dream. A faint call, a voice calling me. Wake, Syerin. I gasp, my chest rising sharply as my heart pounds in my ears. The nightmare claws at me, the memories of the dream like a burning scar across my mind. I blink, confused, my surroundings blurry and unfamiliar. My hands tremble as I push myself up, gasping for air, my breath shallow and erratic. No. The blood, the dagger, the betrayal, all of it, it feels like it's still there, like I can still taste it on my tongue. My breath catches, the god of ash, the blood goddess, the agony. I shake my head, trying to clear the images, the dream pressing down on me. The whispers won't stop. They're coming from everywhere inside my head, surrounding me, suffocating me. And then it comes again. Wake, child. My heart beats faster and faster as I claw to my feet. I'm not in my room. I don't know where I am. It's dark. It's completely dark except for the small flame flicker in the distance. I'm in my thin nightgown, the wind chilling me from all sides. I move to the side until my fingertips meet solid stone. Damp stone. The air smells murky, rotten. Am I in the dungeons? I feel the weight of a dagger suddenly in my dress pocket, and I instantly retrieve it, calming down a little as I grip it tightly. Dragging my fingers across the stone, I move closer to the flame. The flame flickers, barely visible like a dying ember. I take another step, my heart pounding in my chest, each beat louder than the last. My surroundings are a blur, stone walls, shadows stretching endlessly, flickering with eerie half-light. I can barely breathe. Wake, child. The voice again. It echoes, swirling around me like smoke. I want to scream, to rip it out of my head, but I can't. The walls close in, squeezing the air from my lungs. I stagger forward, fighting the dizziness, my hands brushing against the stone as I struggle to find my way. But the world is not what it seems. I reach the flame, only to find it dancing weakly on the edge of a high balcony, overlooking a sheer drop. My breath catches as I look down into the abyss below, so far, too far. I didn't know the castle had this section. The turret stretches out before me, a dizzying spiral, the walls jagged and uneven. A phantom weight presses against my chest, the blood, the guilt, still clinging to my skin. I don't know if it's real or if it's all in my mind. My fingers tremble as I grip the dagger tighter, the steel cool and solid in my hand. I try to steady myself, but the world sways. The horizon tilts. The castle is crumbling. My eyes flick up and horror grips me as a young girl comes into view. Cayde, I shout, running towards her. Her eyes are blank, her skin pale. A knife is gripped in her hand. The walls shift. I can feel it. Something is moving beneath my feet. Cayde raises the knife to her throat and my body goes wild. I lunge for her, but all of a sudden my feet stop moving. Something is holding me back. I can't see to move. Kaylee, I shout again, tears stream down my face. Please don't do it. I plead her. More hot streaks wet my face. You should jump. The voice is different this time. It whispers in my ear, so close it feels like it's crawling under my skin. My grip tightens on the dagger, knuckles white, but I can't seem to shake the feeling of falling, of being dragged toward the edge, step by step. The ground beneath me crumbles, stone falling away in chunks, crumbling into the abyss below. I stumble forward, almost tipping over the edge. My body is screaming, every nerve alert, every instinct telling me to stop, to pull back. But I can't. I have to save Kaylee. The whispers grow louder, more insistent. Step closer, and you will be free. I can feel the edge of the turret now, the wind howling in my ears. My chest tightens, the air heavy, thick with the sense of something terrible about to happen. And then, before I can fully register it, a sharp tug on my wrist. I spin, the world tilting, the wind biting at my skin. But then I see him. Riven. I gasp loudly as I'm torn away from the edge and into Riven's arms. My back is against his chest, his breath's heavy and strained. And just like that, everything changes. The flame disappears, and so does the little girl. I recognize the familiar castle walls, the same turret I'd been about to jump off today. Hallucinations. Twice in one day, Cayde. I'm starting to think you really do have a death wish. He chuckles lightly, but I can tell it's forced. He was nearly destroyed when I fell today. It was lucky Lucien was there, otherwise I'd be a human pancake. What's happening? My heart is still pounding, tears still streaming down my face. I nearly just killed myself. Is this the... No, it's not your mark. It's the first ascension trial. He curses under his breath. Hallucinations designed to either drive us off the edge to death or kill us by madness. My heart beats frantically, and I'm certain it's about to explode. I can't stop the sobs that leave my throat as Riven pulls me closer. I bury myself in his arms as his grip on my waist tightens and he lifts me so I'm in his lap. SHH, it's okay. It's not real, Cayde. None of this is real, he says softly, stroking my hair. I sink into his warmth, my trembling hands clutching at his shirt. The cold air of the turret fades, replaced by the comforting heat of his body, his steady heartbeat beneath my ear. I feel his strong arms around me, and for a moment everything is still. His touch, the way he holds me, it pulls me from the spiraling chaos in my mind. Riven, I whisper. I pull back enough to meet his eyes, the light from the braziers illuminating my body. His eyes darken as they roam over me and I look down, and embarrassment absolutely floods me. My nipples are hardened from the cold, and my nightgown does jack shit to cover me. But for some reason with him, right now, I don't care. I want him to see me. I want him to see all of me, to have me. Riven, I whisper again, my palm cupping his face. His lips part the slightest bit, his arms around me twitching. I thought I was going to lose you, he murmurs, his fingers brushing a tear from my cheek. The words are so raw, so vulnerable, that it takes me by surprise. His touch lingers, a soft pressure against my skin that sends a shiver through me. I'm sorry, I murmur, my voice barely above a breath. You don't have to apologize, he says gently, his thumb tracing the curve of my jaw. You're not alone in this, Syerin. His hand slides to the back of my neck, pulling me just a breath closer. I feel his lips brush against my temple, and the contact sends a flood of warmth through me. I'm here, he whispers, the words almost like a kiss itself. And then, before I can think, my lips find his. It's gentle at first, hesitant. But the second our lips meet, all the restraint falls away. He pulls me closer, his arms tightening around me as if he's afraid I might slip away. He pulls me impossibly closer as I loop my arms around his neck and into his hair. His tongue slides inside my mouth and I moan against his lips, a sound that has him lifting me up. My legs tighten around his waist as he carries us, my back meeting the wall every few steps as he kisses me even harder. Do you feel this? His voice is low, rough, as his hands tighten on my waist. His eyes burn into mine, stripping me bare, leaving nothing hidden. Yes, I whispered, my voice trembling but certain. I feel it. His grip on me shifts, firmer, possessive. You drive me insane, Cayde. Every damn second I'm torn between protecting you and wanting you so badly it hurts. Then stop holding back, I said, surprising even myself with my words. My fingers slide into his hair, pulling him closer. Take what you want. That's all it takes. His mouth crashes onto mine, fierce and unapologetic. It's not gentle, no. It's absolute madness. Hunger, desire, craving. His lips move against mine with a hunger that has me gasping, his hands roaming my body with no hesitation. I cling to him, my nails digging into his shoulders, desperate to keep him close. His hand slides to my thigh, hitching it around his hip, and a gasp tears from my throat when he presses me against the wall, his body hard against mine. Riven, I moan. He groans, the sound reverberating deep in his chest as his lips left mine to trail down my neck, his teeth grazing my skin. You have no idea what you do to me, he mutters against my skin. Then show me, I whisper. My legs tightened around his waist, and his eyes flash with something primal, something that sends a shiver of anticipation through me. You're mine, he growled, his hands tightening on me, and I'm done pretending otherwise. His hand slips underneath my nightgown, his fingers slide aside my underwear as he pushes inside me. I moan, slapping a hand over my mouth as my head tilts back against the stone. The world narrows to the feel of him, his body pressed against mine, the raw emotion that simmers between us, threatening to consume us both. Each breath, each touch, seems to draw me deeper into a place where nothing exists but him. Riven, I breathe, my nails digging into his skin as he thrusts both his fingers in and out of me. I thought a Shar gave good sex, but whatever this is, it's absolute insanity, madness. It's driving me over the edge to a place where nothing exists but just him and I. I cover my mouth, my entire body trembling as pleasure skyrockets and I come, my orgasm coating my thighs. It feels good, but it's not enough. My eyes snatch on the boy before me, this hauntingly beautiful warrior who's gone through enough pain to last 2 lifetimes, maybe even more. Give me all of you, Riven. These trials won't kill me by madness, but you just might. Riven's eyes darken, his lips parting. For a moment he doesn't move, his chest rising and falling with deep breaths like he's fighting to keep control. You want all of me? He asks, his voice low, rough. You don't know what you're asking for, Syerin. No one wants me. I tilt my chins, my gaze steady, even though my heart is racing. I chuckle lightly. Riven knocks. You have an entire fangirl crowd out there. You are wanted. But I don't want you like them. I don't want you for the idea of you. I want you for you are. I want you, Riven knocks. The Prince of Ironspire, heir to the throne, the blood heir. I want every version of you, every part of you. His lips curl into something between a smirk and a snarl, and without another word, he scoops me into his arms. I gasp as he carries me through the dimly lit hallways, his grip firm, his eyes locked on mine as if daring me to look away. When we reach his room, he kicks the door open with a force that makes it slam against the wall. The room is dark, but the faint glow of moonlight streams through the window, casting shadows over the space. It's sparse, the bed in the center of the room, and it smells like him, spice and wood and something distinctly Riven. He sets me down on my feet, but his hands never leave me. They slide up my sides, pulling me flush against him, and his lips capture mine in a kiss so consuming it steals the air from my lungs. His hands tug at the fabric of my nightgown, letting it fall to the floor. The cool air brushes against my skin, but it's nothing compared to the heat radiating from him. His eyes darken as they look over my body. My lips tilt into a smirk, my hands fumbling with the laces of his shirt. My fingers tremble, but I don't stop until I've pushed it off his shoulders, revealing the hard planes of his chest. My breath catches as I take him in, the scars that mar his skin only adding to his raw beauty. He watches me, his gaze burning as my hands trace the lines of his muscles. Syerin, he growls. I look up at him, my hands sliding down his chest to the waistband of his pants. No more holding back, Riven. I want everything. His control snaps. He grabs me, his hands rough as they grip my thighs, lifting me onto the bed. His body covers mine, his lips trailing fire down my neck, across my collarbone, lower and lower until I'm arching beneath him, my body aching for his touch. You're mine, he growls against my skin, his teeth grazing my hip. Yours, I gasp, my fingers tangling in his hair. Words I thought I'd never say come easily. His hands are everywhere, his lips worshipping every inch of me. With one thrust, he pushes inside me, and I gasp at the stretch, the feel of him inside me. We move together, every touch, every gasp, every moan pulling us closer until there's nothing left but us. When I cry out his name, his lips are on mine, swallowing the sound as he takes me higher and higher until we both fall, lost in each other. He falls onto the space beside me on the bed, his hands wrapping around my waist as he pulls me closer. For the first time, I truly feel safe. And I don't know if that's a good thing, because it's a feeling that's coming from the blood air. Morning comes. I don't want it to. Warmth surrounds me from all sides, a weight pressed against my waist. My body subconsciously moves closer, and someone stirs behind me. Soft hair falls over my shoulder, and when I see the color of the eyes that open, I jump away, the sheets falling. Cold bites at my skin and Riven Knox's lips tilt into a smirk. I look down to find absolutely no piece of clothing on my body. My very naked body that's standing in front of the future king of Ironspire. This is all your fault. I snarl. The back of the bed is broken, most of the bed frame too. Jesus. My entire body feels sore, and I'm barely standing up on 2 feet. I find a black shirt, and I don't care that it's Riven's when I chuck it on, saving myself some embarrassment, although I've got none to spare. My fault, he says as I cross my arms looking at him. Didn't see it as my fault when you were practically begging for me to fuck you last night. I feel like my entire face has melted off at this point. I take my dagger and throw it at his face, but he catches it easily, a trickle of blood running down his palm before he tosses it to the side. Oh, he says, examining it. Is that how it's going to be now? Not on your knees for me. Fuck, you, I growl, fixing up my hair in the mirror. I don't need to remind you that you've already done that. Riven, please just shut up. Riven's smirk deepens, the infuriating curve of his lips making me want to throttle him, or kiss him again, and that thought sends another wave of heat rushing to my face. He leans back against the ruined headboard, utterly unbothered by his nakedness, his sculpted torso catching the light in a way that feels almost intentional. I'll shut up, he says lazily, his voice dripping with amusement, but only because you're so damn cute when you're flustered. I am not flustered, I snap, tugging the oversized shirt down as if that'll somehow erase the memory of what happened last night. Not that I'll ever forget. My body sure as hell won't let me, not with the way every muscle aches in the best and worst way possible. Riven chuckles low and dark, the sound sending a traitorous shiver down my spine. He stands, and I freeze as he stalks toward me, all raw power and barely contained heat. His hand brushes my hip, his fingers sliding under the hem of the shirt I'm wearing, his shirt, and I nearly stop breathing. You look good in my clothes, he murmurs, his voice a low whisper against my ear. But you looked better without them. I shove him back hard, and he actually stumbles a step, his grin widening like I've just made his day. You're insufferable, I hiss. And you're irresistible, he counters, catching my wrist before I can grab another dagger to throw at him. His grip is firm but not painful, his thumb tracing lazy circles on my skin. Admit it, Cayde. You wanted me just as much as I wanted you. He presses me against the wall, his arm snaking around my waist, the other tilting my chin up. My breath catches as Riven's eyes bore into mine. His thumb brushes over my lip, the touch maddeningly gentle compared to the heat radiating off him. Say it, he murmurs, his voice low and dangerous. Say you wanted me. I glare up at him. You're delusional, I bite out, though my voice lacks the conviction I desperately wish it carried. Riven's lips curve into a wicked smile, his face so close I can feel his breath against my cheek. Am I? Because last night, I'm pretty sure I heard you screaming my name loud enough to wake half the castle. Riven, you asshole. I shove him aside, gathering my other clothes as I open the door to his room. He laughs. Get dressed, Keeds. We've got a long day ahead of us, and I'd hate for the others to see you walking funny. His gaze flicks down to my legs, and my cheeks burn hotter. You're an ass, I mutter. Maybe, he calls over his shoulder as he throws on his shirt. But I'm your ass. Fucking hell. It's early in the morning, so I haven't run into anyone yet. I'm wearing nothing but Riven's shirt, and if someone sees me, I might actually dig a hole and bury myself in it. How could I be so stupid? Was it just the trial messing with my head, or was it my body taking over all rationality? Either way, I need to stay away from him before I do something stupid. Not like I already have. Thank God, I mutter as I make it to my room door. Fuck God, I mutter when I see Luril sitting on my bed. Where the hell have you be? Her eyes widen as her words trail off when she catches sight of me, and my bundled up clothes in my hand. Luril's mouth falls open, and I brace myself for the interrogation that's sure to follow. You've got to be kidding me, she breathes, a grin slowly spreading across her lips. Tell me you didn't. Don't. I cut her off, slamming the door shut behind me. I'm not in the mood, Luril. She raises an eyebrow, entirely unconvinced. Oh, I think you are. She leans back against the headboard, crossing her arms. So, how was it? Did the future king of Ironspire live up to his reputation? Luril, I hiss, throwing my clothes onto a nearby chair. My cheeks are burning again, and I curse whatever God decided to let this morning happen. She laughs, completely unbothered by my glare. You're wearing his shirt, Syerin. What am I supposed to think? That I don't want to talk about it. I snap, yanking the shirt off and grabbing something from my wardrobe. And for the record, it wasn't. Oh, please, she interrupts, holding up a hand. Spare me the denial. You're glowing. I pause, halfway through pulling on a tunic, and throw a pillow at her. She dodges it with infuriating ease. Fine, I mutter, fastening my belt. But you don't get to bring this up again. Ever. Deal, Luril says, though the grin on her face tells me she has no intention of keeping that promise. I sigh, sinking onto the edge of the bed. I need to focus on the tournament, not whatever this is. She tilts her head back up against the headboard, a solemn expression overtaking her features. I thought you died when you weren't in your room. I've been waiting for an hour and was just about to leave when you showed up. Hallucinations, huh? Did we lose anyone? I say, pulling on my black armor. Unfortunately, no. The girl called Adris got severely injured, and because she lived, the queen allowed her to go see the healers for the next trials. This shit was completely uncalled for. The trials are not even due to start for another month. It's the Queen of Dracarys, Luril. What did you really expect? Attention, all contestants. Congratulations for completing your first trial. Report to the dining hall. The announcement echoes through the halls as I fasten the last piece of my armor, ignoring the ache in my body. Luril stands, brushing off her tunic. Ready? She asks. No, I mutter, slinging my dagger belt over my shoulder. But I don't have a choice. As we step into the corridor, the castle feels different. like the air has grown heavier overnight. Whispers echo from the far corners, hushed voices talking about hearing lots of screams and cries last night. I've come to the conclusion that they must have fed us something at dinner for the hallucinations to work. I can't seem to think of any other reason how. When we reach the dining hall, the tension is like a blanket I can cut with my knife. Contestants fill the room, most of them nursing injuries from the trial. The air reeks of blood, sweat, and fear. Adris sits near the back, her arm in a sling, pale but alive. Multiple bandages coat her face, and there's a boot around her leg. Just what kind of hallucination did you have? The hallucinations showed us our biggest weakness and manipulated it to actually kill us. If anyone finds out about Cayde. And then there's him. Riven stands near the far end of the hall, leaning casually against a pillar, dressed in his black attire. His eyes meet mine the moment I step through the door, and for a split second, everything else fades. Don't be reckless, Marker. This is not love. Good. If it was love, then I'm already dead. The goddess hums in what I assume is approval before she quiets, and I'm taking my seat facing the queen. Congratulations, contestants, she says, standing at the head of the table, her golden armor catching the light. You have survived your first trial. All of you, surprisingly, she mutters. Her eyes flick to each of her sons, something like murder reflecting behind her ice blue eyes. Huh. She turns around, a big screen facing us. We have recorded your first trial for each of you, and it will be presented in the Ascension Arena with all our lovely guests. Tonight you will be expected to attend a meeting in the arena. Remember, everything you say tonight can and will be used against you. Prepare well. There will be a ball held afterwards, so I suggest that during the meeting you wear your armor. You don't know what could be thrown at you. A murmur spreads through the room like wildfire. Recorded. The idea of every moment from the trial being broadcasted to the Ascension Arena makes my blood run cold. The hallucinations alone were bad enough, what they revealed, what they forced us to face. But now they'll be laid bare for an audience. For the Queen. For Riven. For everyone who wants me dead. Being a fail is already bad enough with no abilities. Sooner or later, I'll be expected to fight each of them with their abilities. Lurel leans closer, her voice a hushed whisper. This is insane. They're turning our trauma into entertainment. I nod stiffly, my mind racing. It's not just entertainment. It's a test, I mutter under my breath. To see how we handle exposure, to exploit our weaknesses. The Queen continues, her gaze sweeping over us. You will be judged not only on your performance but on your composure. This trial is not just about strength. It is about resilience, adaptability, and... Her lips curve into a cold smile and her eyes land on mine. Survival of the fittest. Riven's eyes never leave mine, even as the Queen speaks. His expression is unreadable, but I can feel the weight of his stare like a brand. It takes everything in me to tear my gaze away and focus on the Queen. As for the ball, she adds, her tone dripping with mockery, consider it a chance to prove you are more than brutes and assassins. Even killers can be civilized, or so I hope. The Queen's words hang in the air as she strides out of the room, flanked by her guards. The tension is suffocating, but no one moves until she's gone. Only then do the whispers return, louder and more frantic than before. I need to get out of here. Luril nods, and I push back my chair as we leave the dining hall. Just before we make it to the door, the youngest Nox prince intercepts us, his eyes locked on Luril. You extended the favor once to me. Do you want to go for a walk? I can tell she wants to say no, but there's something there that makes her nod her head. She looks at me, slight guilt marring her features, but I shake my head as I tell her I'll be fine. Then I guess I'll ask you out for a walk too. Make sure our friend is not left out. My entire body goes on high alert when Lucian pulls up behind me. I breathe a sigh in relief. You know what, yeah, I need to get my head clear anyway. He flashes me a grin, offering his arm, and I smile right back, linking my arm with his as we skip through the corridors like little girls in the opposite direction to Luril and Cayde. The thought almost makes me laugh. Me and Lucian Nox skipping through Ironspire. Absurd. Yes, ridiculous, I know, he says, laughing as we come to a stop. He pushes open one of the mahogany doors and leads me out into the lush gardens of Ironspire. He drops my arm as the two of us lean across the railing, looking out to see Velthar. I don't know what's happening. His voice is low, his features now solemn. What do you mean? Since I was 5, me and my brothers have been forced to watch every Ascension trial to help us prepare for when we would have to compete in them. Being the princes of Ironspire, it was mandatory we enter. I've watched every single one since I was 5, and what's happening now is bullshit. Yes, I'll admit, the trials were a lot bloodier than what we've done so far, but not once have our weaknesses been put up to show for everyone, including the contestants. Mother's making it hard. I can barely hear his words, my heart beating frantically. Kaylee, they're going to find out about Kaylee, shit. Lucian, I put my arm over his. Truth be told, you don't even have to worry. It's the fail who do. You have your powers to hide behind, your unnatural speed, strength given to you by being born Syerin. We have nothing but our weaknesses to protect, and now we're laid bare in front of everyone. You're not going to die, no matter what Syerin. This time, the trials will have at least 2 winning competitors. We have to make sure of that. 2, I look at him confused. But there's only supposed to be 1, I know, but things are different now. We made an oath. We will fight to the death to keep it. Do you want to tell me why you dragged me all the way out here? Luril walks beside me, her hands swaying behind her back as we walk through one of the many gardens in Ironspire. Maybe I just wanted some air and company. I say, though I'm pretty sure we both know it's a lie. Shit's going down. You're scared, aren't you? She says softly. She doesn't know about the mark, and I'm sure she doesn't know about Syerin as well as all the Nox brothers have one too. I'll keep that bit hidden. My father took over the trials years ago when he couldn't take the amount of bloodshed my mother was causing. But now that she's back, we can expect that the contestants will quickly die. Luril. I turn to face her, and my eyes flick to her lips before I drag them back to her eyes. She notices the movement, and she bites her lip, but I force my eyes to stay on her. Yeah, she manages, her voice husky with a feeling I don't want to name. I don't answer right away. I'm not scared for myself, I say finally. I'm scared for everyone else, for what she's capable of, for what this place does to people. Cale, she says gently, stepping closer. You don't have to carry all of this on your own, if you need me. I do need you, I interrupt, my voice sharper than I intended. That's the problem. I need you alive. I need you watching your back, staying one step ahead. I need you to survive Lurael, because if you don't, I take a deep breath. I want to tell her how much she means to me, the effect she has on me even when I haven't known her that long. I want to say, because if you don't, I'll lose every part of myself until there's nothing left. But I don't. Because if I don't, she starts like she knows what I want to say. Because if you don't, Syerin will not survive. It doesn't take a genius to figure out that you're her first real friend and she already trusts you. You break that, you lose your life, she will lose hers, and so will my brothers. I can't afford to lose any of them. I run a hand through my hair, frustrated. Her hand brushes against mine, tentative but grounding. You're not going to lose me, she says firmly. Not here, not like this, not to your bitch of a mother. I let out a breath I didn't realize I was holding, nodding. Good, I say, my voice steadier now. Because if we're going to get through this, I need to know I can trust you. No secrets, no hesitation. Can I count on you? Her eyes lock with mine, unflinching. Always. It's a simple word, but it carries more weight than she knows. I make it to the study. First out of my brothers, how surprising. Lucian strolls in not long after me, and Riven takes his sweet time showing up 10 minutes late. He opens the doors, leaning against the wall casually as he holds my mother's gaze. She's mad. Very mad. She walks around the table, her heels clicking against the floor and her robe swishing. Her eyes narrow down at us, blue fire burning behind her eyes. I did not raise cowards. You are all killers, yet you saved them. Why? Her eyes are pinned on me and Lucy more than Riven. In fact, she pays him no attention, occasionally flashing him a stare. I know he saved Syerin the night of the trials. I was there right before Lurael was about to kill herself too. I saw him pull her back. I didn't want to see what happened after that. Why is she not looking at him? Why only, oh, shit. I refuse the urge to slap my forehead with my palm. How could I be so stupid? That little bastard. It's easier to annihilate them in the fights. You said that these trials were merely a test for us, to see if we were worth giving Velthar to. I don't merely want to see these idiotic fools fall to their deaths because of hallucinations. I want to destroy them and give you exactly what you want, Mother. I could smell the lie from the mortal lands if I was there. They may be bastards, but if they have the chance to save someone, they will. But it's clear by the shake of Lucy's hands, the tight-set jaw of Riv, that neither of them were expecting the trials to be recorded. We're all going to have to be more careful now. Don't do it again. She turns around, or I'll annihilate you all. Any news today, Father? He looks aggravated, his hair sticking up, and dozens of maps scattered across the table. They're well organized. We're not able to see if their experiments have worked, but all I can say is that war is inevitable, and right now, that's all we can plan for. The transient. The transient from the mortal lands will have answers you seek. These group formings are not rebellions, sentry. Find the transient before he dies and you'll have to wait another 5 years. I work my way around the large circular table. Little figurines of soldiers are scattered everywhere, rough pen markings all over the maps. Velthar now stands alone. What are they then, if not rebellions? He doesn't respond and silence fills my head. I turn to my father. I request permission to travel to the wastes. The Mortalium in particular. My father's head whips up, surprise flitting across his features. The wastes. My father leans back in his chair, his brows furrowed. His surprise quickly morphs into suspicion. What business do you have there, Cale? The Mortalium isn't exactly a safe haven for a stroll. I straighten, folding my hands behind my back. If we're planning for war, we need answers. I've heard rumors of a figure called the Transient, someone who might have the information we need about their experiments. If they've made progress with those creations, we'll be at a disadvantage. This is our chance to learn before they strike. He studies me, his sharp gaze scrutinizing every word, every shift in my expression. You're hiding something. I clench my jaw, forcing myself to stay calm under his piercing stare. I'm doing what's necessary to protect Velthar. My father exhales sharply and stands, packing around the table. His heavy boots thud against the floor, each step measured, deliberate. The Mortalium is a wasteland. Whatever you think you'll find there, it might not be worth the risk. But if this transient truly exists and has the answers we need, I suppose we can't afford to ignore the possibility. He stops and turns to me, his eyes hard. You'll go, but you won't go alone. My stomach sinks. With all due respect, I work better alone. I can move faster, attract less attention. This isn't up for debate, he snaps, cutting me off. You'll take someone who can cover your back. You'll take Lucian. Lucian, of course. I resist the urge to groan. Lucian's impulsive nature and penchant for throwing himself into fights make him a liability on missions like this. But arguing with my father won't get me anywhere. Fine, I say through gritted teeth. When do we leave? As soon as you're ready, he says, his tone final. The sooner you're out of here, the better. And no one knows when the next trial will be. Get back quick. I nod stiffly and turn to leave, my mind already racing with plans. As I step out of the room, I almost run into Lucian, who's leaning against the wall, arms crossed and a smirk playing on his lips. So, he says casually, pushing off the wall, looks like we're going on a little adventure. Don't make me regret this, I mutter, brushing past him. His laugh follows me down the hall, light and infuriating. Oh, come on, Cale. You know you'd miss me if I weren't around. I don't bother responding. If the transient is real, we'll have our answers soon enough. But if this is a wild goose chase, it'll cost us precious time and lives. And Velthar can't afford to lose either. So, brother, where are we going? I tug on the collar of my shirt, absent-mindedly. I ditched my normal armor for a plain gray shirt and black pants, but I still have a few weapons sheathed at my belt. To be honest, I have no fucking clue. I blink at Cale, the words sinking in. You dragged me all the way out here, and you don't even know where we're going. Brilliant, truly inspired leadership. Cale glares at me, his expression one of pure exasperation. We're following the leads, Lucian. It's called improvising. Improvising is code for we're screwed. I mutter under my breath, though loud enough for him to hear. His scowl deepens, but I flash him a grin. All I know is that we need to go to the Mortalium. He says, an annoyed look playing across his face. The road ahead is rough and winding, cutting through the desolation of the borderlands that separate Velthar from the Mortalium. The air is thick with dust, and the occasional gust of wind feels like it's trying to peel the skin off my face. It's a miserable place, the kind of place that feels like it's holding its breath, waiting for something to go wrong. Cale keeps his eyes on the road, his jaw tight as he leads the way. I follow a step behind, my fingers brushing the hilt of one of my blades. The weight of the weapons at my belt is oddly comforting. You know, I say, breaking the silence, it wouldn't kill you to share the plan. Or is this one of your figure-it-out-as-we-go things? Cale doesn't look back. The transient doesn't exactly put up signposts, Lucian. He's a ghost, even in the Mortalium. All we have are whispers and fragments. Unless, of course, you have some brilliant idea to track down someone who doesn't want to be found. Have you tried asking politely? I shoot back. That earns me a snort of laughter, though Cale quickly stifles it. This isn't a joke. If the transient dies before we get to him, we lose 5 years of intelligence. And if these group formings aren't rebellions, then there's something worse. Something we don't understand. I don't like walking into the dark blind. I fall silent for a moment, his words settling over me. He's right, as much as I hate to admit it. There's something bigger at play here, and the unknown is more dangerous than any rebellion. I've thought about it for a while now. It doesn't make sense that mere mortals would go this far to see Velthar fall. And trying to recreate our abilities is something that makes even less sense. The terrain shifts as we move further into the Mortalium. The cracked, barren earth gives way to sparse vegetation and jagged rock formation. Between us and what I assume is the Mortalium is a vast ocean. The water is crystalline and the bluest I've ever seen water, even in Syerin. Why do they call him the transient anyway? I ask, breaking the silence again. Cale glances over his shoulder, his expression unreadable. Because he doesn't stay in one place for long. He's a wanderer, always on the move. People say he's seen things no one else has, knows things no one else knows. If there's anyone who can tell us what's really going on, it's him. He dies after 10 years and then he isn't rebirthed until 5 years later. Sounds like a pain in the ass, I mutter, though curiosity flickers to life in the back of my mind. A man who knows everything. Who wouldn't want to meet him? A man who somehow dies every 10 years. The Mortalium is there, in that cave. He looks to me, then back at the ocean. He takes a deep breath before his hands move and the water parts, leaving us dry sand to walk on before his head glances up at the sky. It's getting dark. The ball will start soon. We have to hurry. I stare at the spectacle before me. the ocean splitting cleanly down the middle, creating a narrow, winding path of dry sand that stretches toward a cave in the distance. "Show off," I mutter, though my gaze remains fixed on the path. Cale doesn't respond, his focus sharp as he keeps the water held at bay. His hands remain steady, his jaw clenched with concentration as we start walking. The walls of water on either side tower above us, shimmering with faint sunlight that refracts into ghostly patterns across the sand. I glance sideways, half expecting to see some sort of sea creature pressing its face to the glass-like water, watching us. Cale breaks the silence. "You've been quiet, that's not like you," he says after a few minutes. I shrug, just thinking. "Careful, you might hurt yourself." Funny, I shoot back, but seriously, this transient, you trust him. "I trust that he'll tell us what we need to know," Cale finally says. "Whether or not we'll like the answers is another matter." Great, love a good cryptic prophet. Cale smirks faintly, though his focus doesn't waver. "I've heard stories, about what happens if you try to lie to him or keep secrets." "Let me guess. Something terrible and mysterious," I deadpan. He gives a short laugh. That's putting it lightly. "He's called the transient for a reason, Lucien. He's tied to the balance of this world in ways we don't fully understand. If you step out of line, the balance shifts, and not in your favor." As soon as we make it through, Cale lets down his hands and the water splashes, a few drops wetting my clothes. The second we step foot inside the cave, my entire body goes into high alert, and I grip a dagger, its black hilt shining against dim light. I can hear voices, slithery voices that make me shudder, but I block it out. Lucien knocks, a boy starved of love. "You want hairer, but you will never have hair. Come to me, and I will help Yao." "Cale, when are we leaving?" On cue, the cave walls rumble. We halt in the middle, weapons drawn as loose rocks and dust hit us. It's going to collapse. I raise my hands, calling upon my wind power as the gusts blow the rocks away from us. "Run," I shout as the rumbling becomes more intense. The voices are screaming now, and my head is pounding, but I summon the wind, creating a shield over us. That blows the debris off as we make it into a small clearing. Something crunches under my boots. I look down slowly. Bones. It's everywhere. People thought it would be fitting to lie to me, thinking I couldn't tell. Others simply came here for the answer and couldn't bear it. I spin around on my heel, my back against my brother as we stand in the center. "You can put your weapons down. I won't hurt you." I hear a slow chuckle. Yet. I look towards my brother, and with a reluctant nod, we tuck our weapons away. The cave's ceiling is high, and around us, multiple cells are built into the rock. People weep and cry, clawing at the bars like they think we can save them. The mortalium isn't simply the home of the transient. I've heard that nasty things happen here. Innocent humans thrown down into the pits to fight something of Syerin origin. They must have debts to repay. My time is nearly at its end. I suggest whatever questions you have. You ask them now before I'm gone and you're crushed in this cave. I straighten up, trying to ignore the growing unease in my gut. The walls feel alive, pulsating with some unseen force. The air is thick with something dark, something wrong. I turn my attention back to the figure that emerged from the shadows. A gaunt man, cheekbones hollow and dark, unruly hair, the transient. Cale shifts beside me, his stance rigid. I can see the same tension in his muscles that I feel in my own bones. This is it. We've finally found him. But there's no safety in finding him. We're far from home, trapped in a cavern filled with bones and whispers. And the knowledge that the end of his existence is near only adds to the pressure. The transient chuckles again, a dry sound that echoes in the chamber. You're both thinking the same thing, aren't you? Not exactly what you expected, but here you are. A pair of princes standing in the graveyard of ambition. Cale steps forward, his voice steady but edged with impatience. We're not here to play games, transient. We need answers. Now. The transient raises a hand, gesturing for Cale to be quiet. Answers? Answers are fleeting. You think you seek knowledge, but you're just chasing shadows like everyone else who comes here. Those who think they understand this world are the most dangerous of all. I narrow my eyes at him. What does that mean? We came here for the truth, not riddles. The truth, the transient murmurs, his voice swirling like smoke, is a weapon. A sharp blade, and it cuts both ways. Do you truly want to know the price of the answers you seek? Because once you know, there is no turning back. The two of us nod. We're running out of time. If we don't make an appearance at the ball, Mother will kill us before this guy can. I'll do a trade. A secret for an answer. You ask your question and I'll ask you something. This is my deal. Take it or leave it. We'll take it. I reply instantly, not thinking things through. Cale makes a strangled noise, grunting at how quick I gave my answer. I turn to him. What's your question, brother? Cale glances at me, his brow furrowed. He wants to ask about the rebellion, about the forces that are working against us, but something tells me that we need to dig deeper. This isn't just about stopping some petty uprising. There's more at stake here. I take a breath and look the transient dead in the eye. Who is the real enemy behind all of this? Who's pulling the strings? The transient's expression flickers for a moment, as though the weight of my question is too heavy for him to bear. For a second, I think he might refuse, but then he speaks, his voice low and unnervingly calm. The one who manipulates the threads of fate is closer than you think. The true enemy is not just some shadow in the distance, but someone you already know, someone you trust. I feel the blood drain from my face. The words hang in the air like a curse, and my mind races to make sense of them. Someone we trust. Who could it possibly be? Cale reacts first, his voice tight with disbelief. What the hell does that mean? The transient doesn't answer immediately. Instead, he steps back into the shadows, his form becoming almost indistinguishable from the darkness around him. The answer is not always what you want to hear, but the question, that's where the true danger lies. A cold shiver runs down my spine, and I instinctively reach for my dagger. The cave suddenly feels smaller, the air thicker. I glance at Cale, my heart pounding. We need to get out of here now. You owe me a secret, Prince Lucian. He ponders for a second. No, let me change it up since you're a special guest. Tell your brother what happened that night. I don't recognize the woman staring back at me in the mirror. When I returned from training, a gown far too elegant for someone like me had been draped across my bed, its dark fabric catching the light like a whisper of night. Before I could question it, a maid named Alicia arrived at my door telling me she was here to get me ready for the ball. Now, as I stand here, I barely recognize the stranger in the glass. My time in the wastes has left its mark. Gone is the gaunt, hollow girl I once knew. In her place is someone stronger, with muscles honed from survival and curves that fill out the sleek black dress. The dress gleams faintly in the dim light of the room, intricate silver embroidery trailing down the bodice like threads of starlight. The skirt flares out in a cascade of layered silk, elegant and dangerous, as if made for someone who belonged to this world of power and deception. My fingers twitch at my sides, yearning for the comfort of the weapons I've hidden beneath the layers. Blades strapped to my thighs and a dagger concealed in the folds of the skirt. I feel out of place, like prey wrapped in finery, but I know better. Tonight I am the predator. Alicia steps closer, a small smile gracing her lips as she adjusts a strand of my hair, now pinned into an intricate updo adorned with small silver pins that glint like tiny moons. "You look perfect," she says, her voice soft but firm. "They won't be able to take their eyes off you." I meet her gaze in the mirror, a flicker of uncertainty crossing my face. "That's what I'm afraid of," I mutter, more to myself than to her. Alicia, the queen, said to be prepared for this. What could possibly happen? A shadow passes over her face, and she looks around the room like there might be hidden cameras before she drops her voice to a low whisper. "With the queen, everything is unpredictable. She takes a deep breath. "You may be asked to fight. I don't know if it'll happen, but it has in the past. And if that does, the fail will be the most targeted. She utterly despises your kind." Something like fear snakes its way into my body. Before I can say anything else, there's a soft knock on the door. "Don't you look absolutely ravishing?" Lucian stands at the door, leaning against the pillar as he takes me in. Riven had asked me to go with him, but I declined. Maybe to make him jealous, or just the fact that I need to stop myself from getting attached to him. He's the blood heir. A killer and completely unreliable, however, damned good he looks. "And don't you look absolutely handsome?" I purr back, and he definitely does. His black hair, like all the Knox brothers, is tousled, falling into his wild blue eyes, while a black suit that matches the pattern of my dress sits along his muscled frame. Lucian's grin widens at my response, his easy charm practically dripping from every word as he offers me his arm. "Flattery, Syerin. You're going to make me blush." He doesn't blush, of course. He's far too confident for that. But his eyes sweep over me once more, lingering just a moment too long. I fold my arms, my gaze sharp. "Enjoy the view while you can, Lucian. It's the closest you'll get to winning tonight." "Shall we? Wouldn't want to keep the court waiting." They've been dying to see the infamous Syerin Cayde up close. I roll my eyes, but even so, we make our way to the ballroom, a dozen people filing in. The ballroom is a vision of opulence, every inch of it designed to dazzle and intimidate in equal measure. Crystal chandeliers hang from the vaulted ceiling. The walls are lined with towering mirrors, reflecting the glittering crowd back at itself like a never-ending tapestry of wealth and power. A symphony of laughter, murmured conversation, and the faint strains of a string quartet fill the air. As we step inside, heads turn, the room falling quieter as the presence of the Knox heir and his escort draws attention. I keep my chin high, refusing to flinch under their scrutiny. Lucien leans in slightly, his voice a low murmur meant only for me. See, you've already won half the battle. They're captivated, and you haven't even drawn a blade. I resist the urge to smirk, my eyes scanning the room for hidden dangers. Captivated doesn't mean harmless. Most predators watch their prey before they strike. True, Lucien agrees, his tone amused yet edged with something sharper. But sometimes the most dangerous predator isn't the one watching, it's the one being watched. Someone dig a hole and bury me in it. All the competitors are seated around a circular table, and I have not been able to look up once as Riven's stare practically burns through my entire body. Even across from him, I can feel the barely contained rage filing off him in waves. He had taken Isolde to the ball, and she's been clinging to him the entire night like a fucking parasite. It doesn't help with the jealousy that's forming at the pit of my stomach. Lucien seems to realize as he gives my thigh a gentle squeeze. But even he seems to be a bit tense. Whilst Riven and Cale have been talking, neither of them have said a word to Lucien. Riven's definitely pissed at him because I took him to the ball but Cale. What happened between you and Cale? Lucien's eyes widen in surprise like he hadn't expected me to ask that question. And before you say that everything's fine, it's clearly not. We're siblings and sometimes siblings fight, he says, shrugging off my question. All of a sudden, the music changes, and in a flash, the table is empty as all the competitors are called to have the first dance of the evening. Something horrible burns in my body when I see Riven tug Isolde closer, his hands resting on her waist. Why do you let yourself be so affected? Riven Knox is not capable of love. As Lucien and I step out onto the polished floor, I force myself to focus on him rather than the searing ache in my chest. Isolde's laughter, light and melodic, rings out as Riven spins her, his dark gaze flickering to me a split second before he looks away. Relax, Lucien murmurs, his voice barely audible over the music. His hands settle on my waist, firm but not possessive. You glare at them any harder, the chandeliers will start shaking. I shake my head. Yeah, you're right. I came here with you. You have my full attention now, pretty boy, I say as he smirks and spins me. You think I'm pretty. He laughs when I push him gently away. Sigh. Our heads whip towards the entrance as the ballroom doors are thrown open. The music stops, and Lucien pulls me behind him, drawing his sword. The chandeliers dim until the ballroom is bathed in a cold, eerie light. Pure horror floods me as Lucien pushes me behind a table, and I ruffle through the layers of my dress for my knife. Hulking, grotesque forms that look like nightmares made flesh spill through the area. Their bodies are gnarled and twisted, skin covered in patches of scales and fur, with glowing red eyes that scan the room. The crowd recoils, some screaming, others frozen in terror. Lucien darts to the table where I'm hiding a chunk of concrete, exploding as one of the creatures lashes out. What the fuck is? My words are cut off as one of the creatures lunges, its clawed hands grabbing a competitor near the edge of the room. Chaos erupts as the creatures move with terrifying speed, dragging contestants from their places despite their struggles. I don't have time to reach for my hidden weapons before one of them grabs me, its grip like iron around my arm. Lucien, I shout, but he's already locked in a fight with another creature, his movements fluid and deadly. He cuts through its flesh with ice-covered blades conjured from thin air, but there are too many of them. My struggles are futile as I'm yanked backward, my feet barely touching the ground. I kick and do whatever I can, but nothing can stop them. They are shadows, lifeless forms, and no matter what hits them, it'll just go through. Shadows, Queen trials. It hits me like a fucking tsunami. This is the second trial, isn't it? Took you long enough. Lucien may have been fighting, but you were too scared to realize that none of the competitors were actually bothering to fight. You're saying they all knew. No, I'm saying that they have more fucking common sense than you do, Marker. But I don't blame you. Those creatures are part of the Queen of Dracoris' army. They've all seen them, and now that she's head of trials, all the contestants must have realized they're taking them to the next trial. What about Lucien? Why was he fighting them if he knew? To put up a show, to show you that he cares. When the creatures finally stop, I'm tossed to the ground like a rag doll. I land hard, the impact jarring, and I scramble to my feet, taking in my surroundings. We're no longer in the ballroom, but in a massive, dark arena. The air is thick with the smell of damp earth and something metallic, blood, I realize. Torches line the circular walls, shadows flickering. When my vision adjusts to the darkness, I realize exactly where we are. The Ascension Arena. The arena is a place of legends and nightmares, where countless hopefuls have met their end under the guise of trials. The circular space is surrounded by towering stone walls, and above them, shadowy figures look down, their features obscured by the gloom. At the far end of the arena, a throne of twisted obsidian rises, jagged and imposing, and seated upon it is the Queen of Dracoris herself. Draped in flowing crimson and black, her sharp, angular features are illuminated by the flickering torchlight. A crown of dark iron sits atop her head, and her piercing eyes gleam with cruel amusement. She stands slowly, her voice slicing through the heavy silence. Welcome, contestants, to your second trial. We're a bit behind on time, so I wish you all good luck. With that, she spins around and disappears in a cloud of smoke. We're so fucked. Luril stands beside me, her gold ball dress torn. I reach for one of the daggers I'd hidden in my dress and cut off the hem. I'd taken Alicia's advice, wearing my black pants underneath my dress and a sleeveless top underneath the corset. I shed the dress, stepping out of the nuisance of the fabric to find Luril and the other contestants doing the same. Guess they all came prepared. Don't die, Marker. You die, I die. Something tells me it would be a good thing if you were gone. I can practically feel her roll her eyes, but I don't get time to say or ask anything else before the entire arena starts shaking. A sharp tug on my wrist pulls me back as the sand shoots up, solidifying into concrete. I fall against Lucian's chest, scrambling up as a massive maze forms in the entirety of the arena. Lirael, Lucin. I shout as a wall rises up between us, blocking us off. Shit, shit, shit. I have no real power, and if I run across any of the others, they will be happy to eliminate me. I exist, Marker. You think I would let you die? The mark offers me some comfort, but if anyone finds out, it's just as bad as getting massacred by the other Zyre contestants. Reach the CENTRE and you win. You have 3 hours. If you fail, you die. The Queen's voice shouts, amplified over the stone walls. The maze is a labyrinth of towering stone walls, their surfaces slick with moisture and etched with indecipherable runes that seem to pulse faintly in the dim light. I press my back against the cold stone, my breath coming in shallow bursts as I try to steady my nerves. 3 hours. That's all I have to navigate this death trap and reach the center. But I'm not alone. The other competitors are out there, and they're just as desperate, if not more so, to survive. I glance down at the dagger in my hand, its blade catching the faint torchlight. It's not much, but it's better than nothing. I take a deep breath and push off the wall, moving cautiously down the passage. The maze seems to shift and twist, the walls closing in and then opening up again, as if it's alive and toying with me. Don't die, Marker, the voice in my head whispers. I'm trying, I mutter under my breath, my eyes scanning the shadows for any sign of movement. I round a corner, a breath of relief leaving my body when nobody's standing there. I quicken my pace to a light jog, keeping my steps quiet as I take random turns. There's no way to navigate. The arena's closed, can't use the sky, don't have powers or tools, so I'm fucking useless here. Behind. A whisper of movement behind me snaps me into action. I pivot just in time to duck as something sharp whistles past my ear, embedding itself into the wall where my head had been. A jagged, black arrow, its shaft pulsing with eerie violet veins. It's not a normal weapon. I grip my dagger tighter, my breathing steady despite the rush of adrenaline surging through me. My muscles coil, instincts honed by years of survival sharpening every nerve in my body. I am not prey. I whirl, throwing my blade in the direction of the attack. A dark figure steps into view from the shadows between the maze walls, their cloak shifting like liquid night. They move too fast, snatching my dagger out of the air before it can reach its mark. Well, that's just unfair. Impressive reflexes, a voice drawls, smooth as silk and laced with amusement. But you'll have to do better than that, Bloodmarked. She's going too far. Sweat drips down my forehead as the creature slithers across the floor, its slimy tail wrapping around my ankle, pulling me down to the floor. I take my dagger, stabbing it, a shrill noise piercing the air as it screams. End it. Why do you waste your time on things you can end with a single heartbeat? Maybe I like the challenge. But despite it, he's right. 3 hours is nowhere enough time to navigate through this massive as hell maze. I sigh, dusting the dirt of my clothes, and let my shadows slithers down towards the creature, snapping its neck in two. Half an hour has already passed, and I'm more worried about Syerin than getting out of this maze. My lips tilt up at the memory of her staring Isolde down while I was dancing with her, and the looks she gave me all night. Then I shake my head. I don't deserve her. Not after what I'd done to her. But part of me is relieved my mother's army snatched us out in the middle of the ball so she wouldn't find out. But I know it's inevitable. She will know and she will leave. Leave me to fucking wither and die alone. You couldn't defy the queen. Family is more important than her. Was family the most important thing when you and her were together? Silence answers. I'll take that as a no. The air feels thick, the stench of rot pressing in as I force my way through the labyrinth. The walls shift and twist like living things, the stone pulsating beneath my fingers. My shadows coil around me, restless. They want out. They want blood. I do too. But I don't have time to entertain those urges. Syerin is out there somewhere, and every second wasted brings her closer to danger. My boots scuff against the uneven floor as I push forward, ignoring the phantom voices that whisper from the cracks in the walls. You don't deserve her. No, I don't, but that never stopped me from wanting her. A sudden hiss snaps me out of my thoughts. Another creature lunges from the darkness, all jagged teeth and dripping fangs. I sidestep, slashing my dagger across its throat. Black ichor splatters across my sleeve, and the beast crumples, twitching before falling still. I exhale sharply, wiping my blade clean. Focus riven. The maze breathes around me, shifting with each step like it's alive, like it's watching. The walls pulse, narrowing, warping, trying to trap me. My shadows lash out, sinking into the stone, testing it. The magic here is ancient, predatory. A low growl rumbles through the corridor. I pivot just in time to see another creature slinking toward me, its many eyes glowing like embers in the dark. It moves slow, deliberate, like it already knows I won't make it out of here alive. Too bad for it. I flick my wrist, sending a tendril of shadows slicing through its neck. The beast doesn't even get the chance to scream before its body slumps to the ground. The ichor pooling at my feet smells like rust and death. I step over it, my heartbeat steady. 2 hours left. And still no sign of Syerin. The thought alone claws at my chest, more suffocating than the walls of this cursed labyrinth. I don't know where she is, what she's facing, or if she's even still. No, I shut the thought down before it can take root. Syerin isn't weak. She's fire and steel wrapped in shadows, and if anyone can tear through this place, it's her. But that doesn't stop the gnawing fear from sinking in. A flicker of movement ahead has me stilling. A figure stands at the end of the corridor, bathed in dim torchlight. For a second, my mind betrays me. My chest tightens, my throat constricting around her name. But it's not her. Familiar brown hair and eyes come to light, and a slow smile creeps up onto my face. Kale's mouth tilts into something that's almost a smirk. You look like shit, brother. I wonder W. Cale's eyes go wide. He lunges for me, my shadows trying to grip the sides of the wall. The floor collapses, and I fall. Darkness swallows me whole. The air rushes past, the weightless void stretching into eternity before the impact slams through my spine. A jagged, searing pain ricochets through my ribs, forcing a strangled breath from my lungs. Dust billows around me, thick and cloying, the scent of damp stone and decay curling in my throat. I push myself up, gritting my teeth as I scan the cavernous expanse that now surrounds me. This isn't part of the maze. The walls here don't shift, don't breathe. They loom, solid, unmoving, lined with ancient carvings that glisten like wet ink under the flickering torchlight. Groaning, I push myself up, my body leaning against the stone wall as I catch my breath and take in my surroundings. What is this place? The temple. No. It's a tomb. My shadows coil tighter around me, whispering warnings I already feel in my bones. Get out of here, now. I push off from the wall, my boots crunching over loose debris as I take a hesitant step forward. The carvings stretch along the walls in intricate, curling script, one I've only ever seen in fragments, in the oldest, most forbidden tomes hidden within Velthar's archives. The language of the Origin Lords. Dread slithers through me, sinking its claws into my ribs. I trail my fingers over the etchings, the grooves warm beneath my touch, pulsing as if alive. My vision wavers. Shadows flicker in my periphery, but when I turn, there is nothing there. Until I hear it. A low, wet rasp. Get out now. You shouldn't be here. The god roars, not in urgency, but agony. They buried you in Velthar. The noise comes again. My heart hammers against my ribs. I turn slowly, shadows curling defensively around my hands as I scan the dimly lit chamber. The noise comes again, closer this time. A dragging, guttural sound, like something clawing its way across the stone. Then I see it. A figure slumps against the far wall, its body twisted and broken, limbs at unnatural angles. But it is alive, or something close to it. Its face is obscured by a veil of matted, blackened hair, and its ribs jut against paper-thin skin. The air around it distorts, and my shadows pool beneath my feet ready. A prisoner. No. Something older. Something wrong. I take a step closer, my breath shallow. The thing lifts its head at the movement, and the torchlight catches on its face. My stomach twists. It has no eyes. Only empty, cavernous sockets that drip with black ichor staining the hollows of its gaunt cheeks. I bite back the urge to vomit. It opens its mouth, cracked lips parting as a voice slithers out, not from its throat, but from the walls themselves. You bear the mark. The words scrape through my skull, ice splintering down my spine. My fingers tighten around the hilt of my dagger, though I already know steel won't help me here. I don't know what you're talking about, I say evenly, though my pulse betrays me. The thing's lips curl into something that might have once been a smile. Oh, but you do. A terrible, wet sound echoes as it shifts, its bones grinding, its body pulling itself upright despite the way its limbs barely seem to hold it. The black ichor drips onto the stone floor, hissing like acid. You carry his mark, it breathes, the mate of the blood goddess. A cold, paralyzing silence crashes through me. No one should know that. No one. No one apart from my brothers. I take a step back. The thing lets out a rasping chuckle, its head tilting in something almost like curiosity. Does she know? It murmurs, its voice a death rattle. Does she know what you are? My shadows lash out before I can think, striking like a whip, but they hit nothing. The figure is gone, vanished into the darkness like it had never been there at all. Only its voice remains, curling through the air like smoke. She will. Lucian. Shit, I curse and curse, kicking stones on the path as the seconds slowly drain. At least I've managed not to come across anything disastrous. Hearing the screams and the sound of flesh being cut seems like Mother has bedazzled this trial up. I tighten my grip on my sword, rolling my shoulders as I take another step forward. The maze looms around me, the walls shifting, breathing like a living thing. It feels wrong, off in a way I can't quite place, like the entire place is stitched together with something unnatural. The screams in the distance grow fainter, but they don't stop. My jaw clenches. Mother always had a flair for theatrics, but this is something else. It's a trap, a test, a nightmare we'll all wake up from if we're lucky. I exhale sharply, pressing forward. I have to find them. Riven, Syerin, Cayde. The path forks ahead and I stop. Left or right? Neither. This is a death trap, Ice Prince. She knows. I hesitate. Who knows? All I get is silence in return, but that does nothing to ease the chills and the red that flashes in front of me like a warning. I can't get out of this now, so I square my shoulders, take a deep breath, and walk. I grind my teeth, taking a slow step forward. My heartbeat hammers against my ribs as I glance between the two paths. Neither feels right. All of a sudden, a freezing cold brushes across my neck. My eyes go wide and I summon my power, throwing spikes of ice behind me only to realize that there's nothing there. What the hell? My breath curls in the cold air, misting before vanishing. I felt something. I'm not imagining this. I roll my shoulders, forcing myself to stay steady. I close my eyes, trying to calm the sound of my racing heart and listen. I hear nothing but screams. And then, a whisper. Soft, faint, but clear. Lucian. My eyes fly open, blade raised. Nothing. My pulse thuds against my ribs. I'm imagining things. The magic in this place is messing with my head. Because it can't be real. Not that voice. That voice is gone. Then I hear it again. Lucian. This time it's not a whisper. It's a plea. A voice I haven't heard in years. I go still, ice crawling down my spine. No, it's not possible. He's dead. I take a step back, ice solidifying around me, sensing something I can't see. And then I see him. A figure standing ahead of me, covered by the mist from the maze, but everything about him is unmistakable. Broad shoulders, familiar eyes, that vitality that had once been my safe place. The Shar. My breath catches, but something is wrong. He's too still, his head tilted at an unnatural angle, his lips parted in something that isn't quite a smile. A whisper snakes through the air, too faint to make out the words. Then, a laugh, low, hollow, everything unlike ash. I tighten my grip on my sword, my knuckles white. "Come out," I mutter, "or do you only play games from the dark?" I call to his silhouette. No response. But the maze walls shift again, poolsing like lungs taking in a breath. I glance down. And freeze. The floor beneath me is shifting, the stone writhing like it's alive. But it's not just stone. The veins running through the cracks glisten with something deep and red. Blood. I take a step back. The second my boot touches the ground, a voice booms through my skull. "You should not be here, child of winter." I stagger, clutching my head as agony sears through me. My vision blurs, red creeping at the edges. "Ashar." I shout, reaching out for him as a sinister smile curves his lips. "You let me die." Kal. My heart thunders as I run, and run. I can't think straight. He fell. My brother just fell through the fucking concrete and then it sealed itself. I can feel it. In the walls all around me. The magic is older than I can imagine, ancient even. And judging by the shout of a name that is long gone, it seems Lucien is about to get taken too. Something is wrong. My mind races, swirling with visions of Riven's body disappearing into the earth. I don't know what this trial is going to whip out, and now that it's taken Riven, all I can do is stop it from taking Lucy. My mind suddenly flashes to a pair of brown eyes. Luril. "You do not have time, Sentry. It's either your blood or her." Lucian? I shout into the void. I force my legs to pump harder. The familiar cold gusts of my wind powers barely registering through the growing storm of dread. Every turn I take is wrong. The walls shift and close off. I twist around another corner, heart hammering in my ears. A high-pitched screech rips through the air as the magic shifts again. Too late, I'm too late. I skid to a stop in the open clearing of the maze, eyes scanning in frantic desperation, searching for any sign of him. The faint glow of Lucien's ice magic flickers in the distance. There, I don't hesitate. I run harder, faster, my heart pounding in time with my feet hitting the cold stone floor. The light grows brighter, bluer, reflecting off the walls. I round the corner and freeze. Wind swirls like a tornado around Lucien, his eyes glowing blue as he stands in the center. "Lucien," I shout, but he doesn't look back. His expression is distant, filled with a cold emptiness that makes my stomach twist. I instantly draw my sword when I catch a flash of movement from the corner of my eye. I whip my sword into position, every muscle tensed, ready for whatever threat lurks in the shadows. But the movement is subtle, almost imperceptible, like the very air shifting in response to Lucien's power. A low chuckle slices through the air. "You came right to me. I spin around, almost stumbling over my feet at what stands before me. Standing at least a few inches taller than me, a creature so terrifying, with white fangs, yellow eyes, and a face full of shadow, covered in tattered robes. Why, you're a Dreeth, aren't you? The creature stalks around me, the hem of its cloak rustling across the floor. It takes me a second to realize I can't feel Lucian's wind anymore. Where have you taken my brothers? They are marked, and you aren't afraid that once the Origin Lords break through that they might use that power against you. The Dreeth's yellow eyes gleam with a malicious glint, its voice raspy, like dry leaves scraping across stone. It circles me, its movements slow like it's savoring my fear. They have to be willing to let the gods in, and I can guarantee you that my brothers are not stupid. I say, narrowing my eyes and raising my sword. Is that so? The creature leans forward, lifting a long, slender finger to the tip of my blade and running it down the edge. Not even when Syerin Cayde will be on the verge of death. Your brothers are already fighting a war. They are already ruined. My grip tightens on the hilt of my sword, every muscle tensing in anticipation. The Dreeth's words scrape against my mind like nails on a chalkboard, but I force myself to focus. I can't let it get to me. Not now. Not when the stakes are this high. Not when my fucking family is on the line. My eyes glance at the clock. Half an hour left. Don't you know Sentry? Syerin Cayde is compatible. The blood goddess and her are one. I scream. I can't see. Endless dark stretches out before me. The only sound I can hear is my own. I try to reach for the blood goddess, but I can't find her. No, I can't feel her. Like she's been completely cut off. Bloodmarked. I hear the whisper, so soft, so delicate, but it's there. My breath catches. The air is thick, pressing down on me like unseen hands. What is this? Bloodmarked. The whisper comes again, closer this time. A voice like silk and shadow, curling around my thoughts, pulling me deeper into the dark. I force myself to move, to take a step forward, except there's no ground beneath me, just nothing. No sky, no walls, no maze. I'm floating, trapped. Then hands. They brush against me, feather-light at first, then gripping, clawing at my arms, my throat, my chest, not hands, tethers. I thrash, struggling against them, but they tighten. Something cold slides into my skin, deeper than my bones. Do you see us, Ice Prince? My head whips to the side. Lucian. Wind with the force of a tornado whips around me, cutting across my skin. Completely ice-blue eyes open up in the distance, staring at me through the void. Lucian, my head repeats again. Is he the one you want, or him? The figures shift in the void. Twisted, towering things with eyes that burn like dying stars. Not human, not mortal, not even gods. Next to Lucian, eyes darker than the color of blood open, his body splayed open, cuts and bruises marring his beautiful skin. Riven, I try to scream, but no voice comes out. I try to reach for him, but my hands are glued to my side. Riven doesn't move. His chest rises and falls in shallow, uneven breaths. Blood drips from the wounds carved into his skin, pooling beneath him, vanishing into the void. His wrists are bound, stretched wide like a broken marionette. Choose. The word slithers through the air, seeping into my bones. My heart pounds as the figures step closer, their burning eyes locked onto me. You cannot have them both. Lucian's ice blue gaze flickers. There's something hollow in it, something wrong. The wind around him howls, cutting through the void as if the storm is coming from inside him. Riven, still unmoving, his body a canvas of suffering. His dark eyes flutter open for a brief second, glass-like, unfocused. He is already slipping away. No, I whisper, straining against whatever force is keeping me frozen. No, you don't get to decide that. A breath of laughter, not cruel, not kind, just inevitable. You think your will matters here, or maybe you'd like the third prince too. In response, the wind shifts, the direction moving backwards. I turn around to see gold eyes open. Cale. What are you doing to me? I cry, hot tears slipping down my cheeks. Lucian takes a slow step forward. The ground ripples beneath him, except there is no ground. Only darkness, only them. The storm, the light, the shadow, only one will survive. I grit my teeth, my pulse pounding in my ears. You're wrong. Lucian's lips curl into a half-smile, but it isn't his. His head tilts, like something else is inside him, testing the way his body moves. Am I? The tethers coil around me, pulling tighter, sinking deeper. The burning eyes in the void blink, 1, 2, 3 times. Choose. And the void begins to crack. Let me in, Marker, if you want to save them all. Let me in. The void trembles, splitting apart like shattered glass, each crack bleeding light and shadow in equal measure. The figures, the burning eyes, the suffocating nothingness, all of it is closing in. They are closing in. Riven's blood drips into the void. Lucian's ice turns to mist. Cale's golden eyes flicker with something wrong. Let me in. The words slither into my mind, curling around my ribs, pressing against the walls of my skull. The blood goddess, no, something more, is waiting, watching. You can't save them like this, Syerin. The void pulses, the choice curling around my throat like a vice. I let go. A single breath, and my body is no longer my own. The darkness doesn't just shift, it erupts. A deep crimson glow spills from beneath my skin, veins of molten power cracking through me like I'm made of glass. My back arches as my head snaps upward, my mouth parting in a silent scream. The bloodmark ignites. And then, I split. My skin ripples, shifting, darkening. Ink-black symbols etch themselves along my arms, my chest, my legs, ancient script twisting and reforming, the language of the forgotten. My bones feel as though they are breaking and rebuilding all at once, stretching into something other, something more. The tethers that held me, they shatter. The hands clawing at my throat, they wither. A breath escapes me, but it is not mine. When I lower my gaze, my hands are no longer my own. Long, clawed fingers trail over my arms, our arms, like something savoring the feeling of flesh. My body moves, slow and precise, shifting like liquid shadow and smoldering embers. The air is thick with the scent of blood and something divine. My lips, her lips, curve into a smile, a whisper of something inhuman. Zah, finally. The void trembles beneath our feet, and the towering figures recoil. They know. They know she is awake. And now, they should be the ones afraid. They are wrong, corrupt, and they are smiling. You do not belong to her. My entire body aches. When I come to, I find myself lying in the kingdom's healing quadrant. My head throbs, my limbs sore and covered with bandages. What happened? Memories claw at the edges of my mind. The void, the blood goddess, her taking over. The power, the suffocating darkness, the way my body had not been my own. A shudder runs through me. I push myself up, wincing as pain flares through my ribs. The room is dimly lit, the scent of herbs and something metallic, blood lingering in the air. The door creaks open. Luril steps in, her dark hair pulled into a loose braid, her expression tight. She pauses when she sees me awake, then exhales, striding forward, a smile plastered across her face. She sits down on the edge of my bed, gripping my arm. You're finally awake. Her tone is clipped, but there's a flicker of relief in her eyes. She sits beside me, arms crossed. You've been out for hours. Hours. I blink, my throat dry. What happened? Luril's jaw tightens. The trial is over. I remember the maze, the screams, the shifting walls that breathed. But I don't remember leaving. Luril continues, her expression darkening. Not everyone made it. I didn't even realize that there were two others here. I look past Luril to see Isolde and her minion. I forgot her name lying, with casts and bandages all over them like me. Something in her voice sends a chill down my spine. I swallow. Who? She hesitates. Reyes is dead. And Oren. Reyes, Oren. I barely knew them, but that doesn't make their deaths sit any lighter in my chest. Did the Queen plan this? Or did she not know that these creatures were in the maze either? I try to focus, but everything is hazy. How? Luril sighs, rubbing a hand down her face. The maze turned against them. I barely made it out either. My stomach twists, turned against them. The shifting walls, the thing I had become, it was no ordinary test. Luril looks at me, her eyes narrowing slightly. You don't remember anything. I don't know how to answer that. I remember too much. Lucian, staring through the void with hollow, ice-blue eyes. Riven, bloodied and broken, his dark eyes fluttering open just before he vanished. Kale, golden-eyed and wrong, watching. The creatures that whispered to me, forcing me to choose. The blood goddess, inside me, moving my body like a marionette. I swallow the lump in my throat, not much. Luril exhales, rubbing her temples. Figures, you were a bloody, battered mess. You were just laying in the center of the maze, curled up, and thou, her voice trails off, her lip trembles. I thought you were going to die. I've made it too far to die now. We still have 3 trials left, and I plan on making it out of here alive. Luril lets out a breath, something between a scoff and a sigh, but there's a flicker of something raw in her eyes. You better. She glances toward the others, her gaze settling on Isolde and the other girl, Danica. That was her name, both wrapped, their faces pale. Even unconscious, Isolde looks furious. Lurel turns back to me, lowering her voice. Whatever happened in there, it wasn't part of the trial. I tense. You're sure? Lurel nods. The healers have been whispering. They said the queen wasn't expecting this much. Bloodshed. Blood pools beneath Riven's body. He is already slipping away. I shake the memory off, focusing on Lurel. Then who was? Her expression darkens. I don't know, but I do know that whatever happened to you was not normal. She leans in, her voice dropping lower. Syerin, you were glowing. The words send a jolt through me. I force my face into something neutral, probably just a trick of the light. Lurel gives me a flat look. Yeah, and I'm secretly a princess. I push myself up further, ignoring the pain in my ribs. It doesn't matter. We survived. For now, Lurel mutters. The door creaks open again. I tense, but it's not a healer. It's a guard, clad in black and crimson, the queen's colors. His expression is unreadable as he steps into the room, his eyes lock onto me. The queen has requested to see you. His eyes flick to me, assessing. She would like you in her office. Immediately. The sound of my crutches echoes through the palace. The place feels a lot emptier. Even the servants and maids that walk past can't seem to look me straight in the eye. I trace my fingers along the walls, walking the familiar path to what I now know is the queen's study. In the few hours I've been awake, the blood goddess hasn't said a word to me, and truth to be told, I don't think I can bear to hear her anymore. All of this origin lord nonsense is making me go mad. Syerin, I almost drop my crutches. My heart seems to freeze, my entire body rooted to the spot. Not Cayde's Syerin. Riven, I say, my voice husky. I don't turn back, I can't look at him. But I so desperately want to just say fuck this, run to him and drown my worries in his arms. I can't do that. He is Riven Knox, the blood heir, and I'm just Syerin Cayde, a fail, worthless, nothing. Right now, my sole focus needs to be on surviving the remaining trials. I need to go, and that's all I offer him before I start to walk away. There's a giant gaping hole inside me, but I refuse to show him that he's my weakness. To his credit, he doesn't chase after me or say anything, but I can still feel his stare on me until I round the corner to come face to face with large mahogany doors. The door whooshes open, shadows curling around the hinges before they retreat right back to the queen. Queen Evelora stands at the far end of the room, her back turned as she gazes out the tall, arched windows. The dim light of dusk filters in, casting her silhouette in shadow. I step inside, gripping the crutches tightly. The door swings shut behind me with a quiet thud. "You're alive," she says, voice smooth, unreadable. I keep my expression blank. Was there ever a doubt? She finally turns, eyes dark and calculating as they roam over me, assessing. There was a pause. Sit. I limp forward, lowering myself into the chair across from her grand obsidian desk. Evlora's presence is a storm contained, and I get the distinct feeling she's holding something back. Her gaze sharpens. Tell me, Syerin, what exactly happened in that maze? I grip the arms of the chair, my pulse hammering. I don't know. A lie. Her lips press together. Do not play games with me. My sons wouldn't be in a coma if something didn't. What? My head whips up, and for the first time since I entered the room, I look her straight in the eye. My heartbeats get quicker. What do you mean they're in a coma? The mark burns faintly under my armor, but I ignore the sting. Riven. Lucian. She doesn't blink. You heard me. I would be less surprised if all three of them ended up dead. Her cloak swishes as she moves around me, her nails tapping against the wooden table that separates us. But what doesn't stick right with me is that they somehow reached the center of the maze, comatose. My hands clench into fists. All three of them. I swallow against the rising panic. What happened? Queen Evlora's expression remains unreadable, but her fingers tighten slightly where they rest on her desk. You tell me. I force myself to breathe evenly. I don't know. My voice is tight, laced with frustration. I barely remember getting out. The queen watches me for a long moment, her sharp, dark eyes searching for something beneath my words. They were found unconscious, she finally says. Lucian was ice cold, Cale was just unconscious and riven. A muscle ticks in her jaw. He nearly died from the blood loss, but the healers got to him in time. I swear I see a flash of guilt in her eyes, but it passes as quickly as it came. A chill runs through me. Ice gold, Lucian's power. I shake my head. I didn't see them, not after the maze. But that's not true, is it? I remember Riven, bloodied and broken, his dark eyes fluttering open just before he disappeared. Lucian, staring through the void with hollow ice-blue eyes. Cale, golden-eyed and wrong, watching. What did he do? Her voice cuts through my spiraling thoughts. They won't wake up. I snap my gaze to hers. They are stable for now, she continues, but only Riven has regained consciousness. Her expression sharpens, and you were the last one seen with them. I go still. The implication is clear. You think I did this. She doesn't deny it. My pulse hammers in my ears. I can feel the blood goddess stir beneath my skin, simmering at my fingertips. I didn't. My voice is steady, but my hands feel clammy. The queen leans forward slightly. Then what did? The answer sits heavy in my throat. The blood goddess, the maze, the gods, the power that seeped into me, took control, twisted everything. I can't tell her. Not yet. Not until I understand what happened. More importantly, I don't trust her. I don't know. The words taste bitter, but they're the safest option. Queen Evlora studies me, then exhales. I want answers, Syerin, and I want them before the next trial. She stands, her presence filling the room like a storm about to break. Because if my sons don't wake up, I won't be looking at you as a competitor. A slow pause. I'll be looking at you as an enemy. The words are ice against my skin. I hold my ground. I understand. She watches me for another moment, then waves a hand toward the door. Go. I push myself up, ignoring the pain that flares in my ribs, and turn without another word. Is it because I didn't choose them? You have awakened the very creatures that will kill us. So now you're speaking to me. I scoff, trying to block her out, but even not in full form. She's still stronger, and she breaks through my shields easily. Do you want to die, Marker? Do you want to see Riven and Lurel die because of you? If you don't let us out, the Dreath will kill us, and I will no longer be able to help you. Were you ever helping me in the first place, or were you just using me? My legs tremble beneath me, and I force myself to keep moving, ignoring the burning pain that lances through my body with every step. Her words cling to me, growing louder with every thought. I never should have come here. I left Kaylee out there on her own, and I need to get back to her. You think you can run from me, Marker. You cannot. You are mine. You're a fucking parasite. That's all you are. We are compatible, Cayde. She roars in my head. I am not a parasite. I am you and you are me. Other origin lords may mark others, but if they try to turn and they are not compatible, they will die. Which is why we must choose carefully. None of the others have turned because they are afraid they have marked the wrong one. The hallways stretch before me, endless and empty. Servants bow their heads as I pass, too terrified to make eye contact. I can almost feel their judgment, their fear hanging in the air. They've heard the rumors of the trials, of the deaths, of the darkness that now clings to me like a second skin. I push through the next set of doors, finding myself back in the familiar, sterile emptiness of the palace's inner courtyard. The sky above is a soft gray, the storm clouds still there. I've got to focus. I've got to get through the trials. That's the only thing that matters now. Please just leave me alone. I stop in my tracks, my mind recoiling at the mention of the Dreath. Creatures of nightmares, shadows that bleed into the very fabric of this world. And we have somehow awakened them. I've survived trials, betrayal, and the darkness within me. But I can feel it all slowly crumbling, slipping through my fingers like sand. My breath comes in shallow bursts as I squeeze my eyes shut, willing myself to remain grounded, to push back the panic clawing at my chest. Focus on the trials. Survive. I open my eyes again, taking in the vast courtyard, the stone paths beneath my feet. The wind stirs, cool and biting, and I take a step forward, one foot in front of the other. The Queen's words echo in my mind. If my sons don't wake up, I won't be looking at you as a competitor. I'll be looking at you as an enemy. I stop walking, a cold rush of dread flooding my system. But it's not just about surviving anymore. I have to figure out what happened, what the blood goddess is doing to me, what we are becoming. A low growl reverberates in my chest as I remember the words she spoke in my head earlier, her voice like thunder in the dark, demanding. We are compatible, Syerin Cayde. Will you choose her, over your family, over your blood Riven Knox? I can't see anything. Darkness claws at me from all sides, drowning me, killing me. I own the power of darkness, yet I have never been afraid of something that has felt like home. But it isn't just surrounding me. It's inside me, winding through my veins like poison, whispering in my ear like a lover. It knows me, knows my weaknesses. A face flashes before my eyes. Cayde's. Her blue eyes burning with fury, her lips curled into a challenge, her voice steady even when she was breaking. My brothers. Lucian's lazy smile, Cale's golden eyes watching. The weight of their expectations, the legacy bound in my blood, in my bones. I choke on the silence. My chest burns. Who will you choose, blood, air? I don't answer. I can't. A force wraps around my throat, dragging me down, down, down. Choose. My knees slam onto something solid. The darkness shifts, swirling into shapes I can see now. Lucian stands before me, his ice blue eyes blank, empty. Cale steps into line beside him, gold burning bright against the shadows. Cayde's is further away, barely visible through the mist, her form flickering. I reach for her. She steps back. No. A hand clamps on my shoulder. Cale, his grip is tight, unyielding. She's not one of us. His voice is quiet, but it slices through me. I know that. I know. But Lucian tilts his head, studying me. You can't have both, Riven. The darkness coils tighter. A choice. Blood or her. My family, or the girl I. Something jolts, and in a whisper the darkness fades, and I sit upright, sweat running down my forehead. It's just a dream, Riven, just a dream. I hadn't bothered to close my curtains, so my room's alive with moonlight and the faint sound of the breeze knocking against the glass. Ever since the trial ended, these flashes of darkness haven't stopped chasing me. Every time I go to sleep, I'm forced to make a choice, her or them, and I've never been able to choose. Why? The answer should be my brothers, so why do I hesitate? Why can I never choose when it comes to her? Syerin Cayde, what have you done to me? I didn't sleep. It's not really. I tell myself it's nothing, that the feeling in my chest is just exhaustion, that the choice clawing at my mind is one I've already made. But I haven't. My brothers have fallen into some cursed, magic coma because of me, because I chose someone who should have no reason to affect me in such a way. I told you she would be our undoing, the god whispers. I didn't believe it, not at first. I knew something was there ever since I saw her at the selection, but I thought it would be easy to overcome. Fuck, it was not. I splash water on my face, the coolness of it doing nothing to erase what's happened. I haven't slept for nights since the trial ended, and it's evident through the black circles under my eyes, my disheveled hair, and my gaunt cheekbones. I strap my sword to my hip, taking one last look at the riven Nox I've become, and make my way to the dining area, where all the contestants will be waiting. Where she'll be waiting. My boots click, the sound echoing as I walk. The walk to the dining hall feels longer than usual. Maybe it's because I know what awaits me. Maybe it's because I'm stalling. No, I don't stall. 2 sentinels await at the doors, and as I approach, they push them open, letting me through. Everyone else is already here, apart from her. My mother hasn't made an entrance yet either. I wonder if she feels a sliver of guilt after what happened to her sons, or if she has the common sense to cancel them. The Dreath from Tenebris have already infected the place. They know who we are, and if she doesn't shut them down, more will follow. Some contestants lean against the walls, arms crossed, eyes scanning the room for threats. Others murmur to each other. I keep walking. I don't acknowledge them. I don't care about them. And then, the doors open. She steps inside. The air is ripped from my lungs. I don't move. I can't move. She looks the same. Fierce. Lethal. She walks like the ground itself bends to her will, her red hair falling in loose waves, her cloak brushing against the stone. There's no hesitation in her steps, no crack in her mask. Like last night never happened. Like she isn't the reason I spent the entire God-stammed night wide awake. Something inside me twists. She doesn't look at me. Good. I don't want her to. I drag my gaze away, forcing myself to focus on anything else. The firelight flickering against the walls, the murmuring of the other contestants, the tightening grip of my fingers. I feel like I'm being tortured. Every time I look at her, all I can remember is my hands on her body, my name slipping past her lips like a prayer, me marking her. And now, every second feels like punishment. Punishment for not being able to protect her. Punishment for not being able to protect my brothers, my blood, my family. Syerin moves toward the table, her blue eyes scanning the room like she's already looking for threats, already deciding who she'd kill first if it came down to it. And fuck, that shouldn't be attractive, but it is. She sits far from me because of course she does. She doesn't acknowledge me, doesn't even glance in my direction, and that shouldn't bother me, but it does. I can tell she's trying not to let what's happened affect her, but anyone can tell. Her tired, exhausted eyes, her posture a bit too rigid, the paleness of her skin, the faint darkness under her eyes. The signs are all there. Something happened to her too in there. And I have a sinking feeling that she chose me too, and that's why my brothers are comatose. Contestants. With a whoosh of shadow, my mother appears, looking just as evil as always in her blood-red dress and black cloak. She steps down onto the platform, her heels clicking as she takes the seat at the farthest end of the table, reserved for her. She takes her time, her gaze locking onto each and every one of us, and I don't miss the way her eyes linger a second longer than everyone else on Syerin. We have 2 dead, 3 with injuries. The rest of you managed to escape fine, she states. Somehow, the unlikely have made it and the likely have fallen. Interesting. I can practically feel the disgust rolling off her in waves at the remark that all Fail have survived apart from one raise, and the Zyre have not been performing well. As you know, 2 of our contestants haven't made it to the table today. Lucian and Cale Knox have been exempt from the trials until we wake up. Silence stares back at us. Anger unfurls in my stomach. You aren't canceling the trials. I ask, my voice low, my eyes narrowed. My mother stares back at me, a wicked smile spreading across her lips. She reclines slightly in her chair, tilting her head as if I've just amused her. Like the idea of stopping this god-damned blood sport is laughable. Cancel the trials, she muses, tapping a single black-painted nail against the table's surface. Because two contestants are indisposed. Her lips curl into something that might be a smile if she were capable of feeling anything remotely close to warmth. No, my son. That would be a disgrace to the blood spilled for this tournament. Shadows spill out from every inch of my body, climbing everything in the hall. Look at your sons. I yell. Do you not see what the fucking trials have done? You and your brothers compete knowing what the consequences are. I scream at her words, darkness covering everything that is light. My brothers are going to die because of you. I snarl. Shadows twist and curl around the walls, flickering like living creatures. Contestants scramble back, some pressing against the stone, others reaching for their weapons in reflex. But no one dares to move first. No one dares to challenge me. Except her. She doesn't shrink away. She doesn't reach for her blades or flinch like the rest. Instead, she just watches me. Quiet, steady, her blue eyes like the edge of a dagger, sharp and waiting to cut. But right now, I'm too fucked up to care. No, Riven. Mother says, standing up, her cloak flowing through the shadows. Her eyes gleam, a sinister look morphing her features. They'll die because of you.